Welcome to round 2 of the AMSOIL GNCC Racing Series, an AMA National Championship. We're here in Palatka, Florida for round number 2. The Moose Racing Wildboar, Florida, sand. Round 1's in the books, Landon. Talk to me about it. Walker Fowler out there, he kind of did his thing. He did what we expected him to, but beyond that, talk about round 1.
Yeah, I think everyone expected Walker to come out and do exactly what he did, and he showed exactly what he's made of. But behind him, there was a lot of good battles. You know, we had Bryson Neal, Chris Borch, Adam McGill, Jared McClure. A lot of good racing back there. I know a couple of those guys, Chris and Bryson and even Jared, came from the back of the pack from the beginning of the day, and Jared had a couple of issues along the way, but they all ended up within seconds of each other. So I think, you know, I think we're going to expect a lot of the same out of Walker tomorrow, but behind him is going to be a good race.
These guys train down here almost all winter, it seems like. So for the pro guys, it's almost like, to me, Florida's the equalizer. Would you agree with that?
For the most part, Jared McClure, though, he hasn't been down here at all, and neither has Bryson. So, but both of those guys are really tough, and I'm sure they'll push through whatever it takes to run with those guys, the people that they need to be running with.
Well, that's the XC1. Now, XC2, the favorite coming into 2018 was clearly Hunter Hart. Hunter Hart had some major struggles in round 1.
Yeah, I saw he had a good start, but he came around early on in the race and had a blown rear shock. He did complete the first lap, but came in at the end of the first lap, changed out of shock. He was very, very far back, but he rode strong at the end of the race. But I believe we had Austin Abney win, which, like you said earlier, he's now back-to-back winners. He got a win at Ironman at the end of last year, came into Big Buck beginning of this year, off of the flu, had a really good race and won. I think, you know, Hunter Hart, I think he was the favorite, but I think we could have a good battle there.
I think you're right, Landon. Well, enough talking. Let's take it down to the starting line with Rodney Tomlin.
Thanks a lot, Mikey, and of course here we are on the starting line in Florida, ready to roll as a beautiful sunshiny day is upon us. About 75 degrees right now as these riders get set to tackle the sands of Florida, and let's meet our starting lineup. Rolling to the line first today, he rides aboard the number 1. It is a WFR GBC Fly Racing Factory-backed Yamaha. He is a 3-time GNCC champion from Rogers, Ohio, Walker Fowler. Rolling to the line second today in points after that opening round. He is the number 2 machine from Bidwell, Ohio on the B. Neal Motorsports CST Tires Hauser Racing backed Yamaha. The Bidwell Bullet, Bryson Neal. Rolling to the line third today, he rides aboard the number 4, a 6-time GNCC champion and the winningest GNCC racer of all time. From Sunbury, Pennsylvania, on the Maxxis Fly Racing Eel Cycle Barn Suzuki, Chris Borich. Rolling to the line today, 4th in points, aboard the number 521. From Waverly, West Virginia, on a CST Tires Induction Solution LSR backed Honda, Adam McGill. Rolling to the line next today, he rides aboard the number 3. We know him and love him as the Sneaky Snake. From Casca, Pennsylvania, on a JMR ATVRiders.com Maxxis backed Honda, Jared McClure. Rolling to the line next aboard the 741, a sophomore here in 2018 from Myersville, Maryland, on a GBC Motorsports RJR Solo Pilot back Suzuki, Wesley Wolf. Rolling to the line next, aboard the 733 from Edinburgh, Pennsylvania, on an Ampro Yamaha, backed by Gear, Alloy, and GBC Tires, the Coltrane Cole Richardson. Rolling next to the line, aboard the number 201 from Carroll, Ohio, on a Pierce Performance Moose Racing Spider Graphics backed Yamaha, Cody Collier. He is 9th place after the first round of racing. He rides aboard the number 10. He got his first year at the X Factor last season out of Aurora, Ohio. Recently celebrating his 40th birthday on a GBC Fly Racing HMF Factory Yamaha, Johnny Gallagher. Rolling to the line next, he is 10th in points. He rides aboard the number 9 machine. A rookie from Windsor, New York on an MR Unlimited GBC tires, RJR backed Honda, Devin Feehan. Rolling to the line next, he rides aboard the number 12 from Ithaca, New York. A rookie on a Goldspeed Waynesburg Hauser Racing Yamaha, Greg Covert. Aboard the number 11 from Akron, Ohio on a B&R Motorsports GBC Precision-backed Yamaha, Josh Merritt. The number 407 from Noster, Missouri on a Baker Racing Honda. After nearly 10 years of retirement, back at it, OBB himself, Brian Baker. Rolling to the line next, aboard the number 15 from Green Valley, Missouri on a Spider Graphics Shockworks Motorsports GBC tire back machine, Tucker Wyatt. And last and certainly not least, hailing from Richford, New York on the Spider Graphics GBC Moose Racing backed Honda, the Richford Rocket, Marty Christopherson. And that, ladies and gentlemen, your starting lineup for this Moose Racing Wildboar GNCC. As the tension begins to build here in the sands of Florida today, the starting lineup have picked their positions on the starting lineup, the XC1 Pro class, and they are amped and ready to rock. Walker Fowler coming off of yet another incredible win, coupled with a podium position finish in UTV racing just 2 weeks ago at the season opening Big Buck GNCC. He came in with a vengeance, and of course he left it on the racetrack as he is ready to make things happen here today. He is going down the line right now, wishing everyone good luck, slapping high fives, giving bro hugs. Walker Fowler, a true champion, there's no doubt about it, as these guys get set to roll into that first turn for the $250 Wiseco Hole Shot Award. We'll give that to them after the race. Last week, it was Walker Fowler. He had about a 4 bike length lead whenever he crossed that hole shot stripe. We got to wonder, is he going to be able to get off the line that well again? He's been practicing all winter long here in the sands of Florida. As Ricky Towery informs these riders now, we are now 1 minute away from going GNCC racing. And now Ricky walks back to resume his post and begin our starting sequence here for round number 2. The next flag we see will be the blue flag, signaling less than 30 seconds, and the all-important all engines off sign for these riders that are getting ready to take off on this dead engine start into a nearly 13-mile-long race course here through the palmetto roots and the pine trees and the sand roofs of Florida. Shut them down, guys. Shut them down. Shut them down. Shut them down. We are now less than 30 seconds away from going racing. And I got to ask you, Florida race fans, are you ready to go GNCC racing? Man, it sounds like you guys might be ready, but I know it's been a long winter. I know this is your first time out for a lot of you guys. I'm going to ask you one more time, give you a chance to show us just how excited you really are. Are you ready to go GNCC racing? 10 seconds. And row number 1, the XC1 Pro, will be off and rolling at the Moose Racing Wildboar GNCC. $250 up for grabs. It's Wesley Wolf. WW getting the hole shot. It's a drag race to a 3rd turn, and Wolf is leading this, the sophomore and motocross star as well. Row 2, the XC2 Pro-Am, Hunter Hart, Drew Lander, Steve Covert, Tanner Walker, Zachary Dean, Bertie Livingood, Kenny Schick, also Ben Kowalski, Gabriel Nod, Nick Royalty, Matthew Lindell, Cameron Bruce, Jay Wagner, Gus Rickman, Austin Abney, John Glotta, Devin Masters, and Sam Huff, all ready to roll in 10 seconds. Well, we had a false start there. Looks like that's going to be taken care of, but around the turn. Oh, 4-2-7, blowing the doors off. Cameron Bruce from Darlington, Pennsylvania, B&R Motorsports GBC, HMF-sponsored rider to a Senior A 40-plus class now. Michael Hayes, Martin Whitty, Richard Taylor, Roberto Rivera, Justin Kerr, John Salsa, Brian Halsey, Tommy Thompson, and Juan Cabrero. All ready to roll on Ricky's cue as he lets them know. 10 seconds.
You did put that SE part in there, right? Yes. But that wasn't recorded.
And they're off. 6:59. Is that Juan Cabrero? Let's see. No, he gets it to Sapporo 16. Tommy Thompson from Kannapolis, North Carolina, Beaver Honda, Shockworks, and Turtle Race Engine Back Machine. Didn't run like a turtle I've ever seen. College A coming up next, Cade Vanderpool, Tyler Swindle, Cage Chrisman, Joseph Yerkson, Kelton Harbin, Lardy Nicholas, also Noah Mickelson, David Brinson, Matthew Blankenship, Seth Wilson. 10 seconds. McCain Jennings, Corey Silverthorne, Jacob Weichmeyer, Ronnie Rush, Eli Kiger, Mikey Nichols, and Buddy Lamoureux. Noah Mickelson, rock. Oh, he gets pushed out to the outside, and that's going to be the 7-14 little Ronnie Rush. But what a jump off the gate by the motocross star, Noah Mickelson. He finished second at the last round. We'll see if he's able to recoup from that. Junior 8 22 plus, Royal Ronnie Rush reading that one now. But as we go to Junior 8 22 plus guys, Levi Cohen, Zach Reich, Jade Millwood, Eric Straw, Brian Thompson. 10 seconds. James Mulger, Omar Vega, Don Morris, Chris Ballou, Russ Wright, Josh Haney, Luke Shepard, Ben Danner, and Dylan Taylor. Around the first turn to the second turn, they head toward that whole shot stripe. It's 3:21, still in the second turn. That was not his GNCC number. Sorry about that. Ben A, Jeff Pickens, Big Papa P, AJ Kuntz, Nick Carnelli, and David Pichet ready to go. 10 seconds. Big Papa P, Jeffrey Pickens. Out of Shamokin, Pennsylvania, GBC Tires, Waynesburg, Yamaha. Oh, he gets taken over by the 415, Nick Carnelli. Wow, this is going to be a battle here out of Concord, North Carolina. 161 Turtle Engine, 6.5 designs. And those Turtle engines are running like rabbits today. Senior B, 40 plus in 10 seconds. Jacob Phillips, Peter Dendria, Ed King, Brian Locke, and Scott Yadis. Turn one, now diving into turn two. Oh, missed his number, but wow, I was impressed by his riding abilities. College B class, Jeremy Ladon, Aaron Bosley, Grayson Eller, Jaron Dawkins, Colton Dobbs, Alan Daniels, Colby Clark, Carter Kearns. 10 seconds. Corey Koss, Alex Vanderpool, also Ben Peterson, Austin Straub, Jeremy Haney, Chase Allison, Hunter Harris, Colton Kendall, Rhett Cox, Cale Howard, and R.J. Jacobs. Around that first turn, somebody on a Honda. Well, 504 Hunter Harris out of Trevorton, Pennsylvania, grabbing A good early lead rolling into that second turn now. Junior B 22 plus class, Charlie Rogers, Nathaniel Tickle, Derek Way, Tristan Jones, Travis Bruck, Emily Wise, Cody Holcomb, Dustin Ulrich, and Blaze Taylor. 10 seconds. All right. Oh, Emily Wise, 4:19. She does it again. The whole shot queen is back. Look at her go, folks. Waynesburg, Pennsylvania, Waynesburg Yamaha, Barnhart's Honda, and Outlaw Motorsports sponsored. The Bet B 30 plus class coming up next. Zach Phillips, Lodge Blazinski, Wesley Smith, New York Dave Napo, Chris Conklin, David Rudder, John Sutton, Dustin Dickerson, and Steve Barber in 10 seconds. And they're off. Position jockeying as they go through that first turn, a drag race into turn 2. The 7:19, I believe, is going to get that lead. Chris Conklin from Sistersville, West Virginia. Zachary Phillips side by side with him there. So we check things out. One more bike still going off the start. It's a fresh, clean start now, my friends. We'll be getting ready for UTVs down here in a little bit. But right now, we got ATVs on the racetrack. Stick around. GNCC Live continues here on RacerTV after this.
What is your passion? Hitting the perfect line, finding the perfect trail, routing the perfect adventure, or just living and breathing the moto life? Do you feel pride for a job well done after tackling a late night in the shop? Do you enjoy time spent with friends and family in the great outdoors? Spanning over 3 decades, one name has taken the lead for supplying the best powersport parts, accessories, and apparel to fuel your passion. One name that knows it goes beyond getting you the best prices, quickest shipping, or largest selection. One name that builds and innovates for our industry. One name that teaches, helps, and supports our fellow riders, racers, and organizations. We are Rocky Mountain ATV MC. We have transformed a team of moto enthusiasts into a powerful teaching team to ensure that you make the best purchasing decision with your hard-earned cash. We build communities with fellow riders to provide you with all you need to make a good decision. See customer photos, reviews, Q&As, and more while you're on our easy-to-use website. Need help fast? Live chat with our specialists, email, or drop us a line. Visit us today and experience the best in OEM and aftermarket parts, accessories, apparel, and industry-leading information. We offer lightning quick shipping, free on orders over $75, a huge inventory, free apparel exchanges both ways, and customer service that leaves all others behind. Experience one name that leads all others. Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Get ready.
I'm a sore loser.
I'm a sore loser. Losing is not an option for me.
Be the best.
The best? The best.
You have to have the best equipment under the hood.
That's why I only use
Cometic products in my engines.
Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket, a superior quality gasket
For those of us who demand the highest level of performance.
We handle your races, your jumps, and your trails. Isn't it time you give your daily driver the same love? AMSOIL's Signature Series Synthetic Motor Oil delivers 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard. AMSOIL also offers a full family of ATV, UTV lubricants, giving you above and beyond fortification for your weekday and weekend vehicles. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
And welcome back to GNCC Live. I'm Mikey Waynes, joined with
Landon Wolf, and here in a moment, Rodney Tomlin. We heard from him down at the start, obviously. We are here in Palatka, Florida. Beautiful, beautiful, sunny Florida for the Moose Racing Wildboar round number 2. Can't believe it. Landon, man, round number 2. Talk to me about what these guys can expect out of Palatka, Florida.
Well, it's a typical Florida race. I mean, it's very sandy. We got 2 different sides of the track. They're actually completely different sides, completely different scenarios. The first side, which they should be on right now, is super rough, super sandy. It has no bottom. Looks like they're coming through the FMF PowerPoint right now. So that side's really rough. They get on the other side. It's going to be some really fast racing. Good stuff to watch over here on this side of the pits.
One of the things that stood out to me last year was these mud holes that these guys are going to face. How is it compared to last year? I mean, I know you were running it last year. Is it anything like that? I mean, that FMF PowerPoint last season was just, it was absurd.
Yeah, this year I think it's a little bit drier down here. I don't know that they've gotten much rain here recently, but it is still an issue with some mud out there, and the bad part is even if it starts out as a little bit of mud, it's sand underneath. So every time they go through, it gets deeper and deeper and deeper. So by the end of the race, it should be some pretty gnarly stuff.
That's one of the things I picked up from this morning, just being at the finish line. You know, it'll rut out, sure, but here in Florida, it just seems to get progressively worse and worse and worse as the race goes on. So you got to think that that's probably going to play a factor for some of these guys out there on the sport quads.
Yeah, I mean, I even saw there at the finish line of the AM race, people were actually getting stuck just pulling through the finish line. I mean, the ruts were getting so deep, they couldn't get their tires on the ground to get any traction. So. But you know, these guys know what they're doing out there.
Oh, for
so
sure.
They'll stay in the good lines and keep their bikes moving, that's for sure.
Well, it looked like early on, it looked like Walker may have worked his way out into the front of this pack. I'm not real positive. I know the whole shot went to Wesley Wolf. WW, man, out there, he was on the throttle taking that whole shot out of the XC1. So great start to this one for him, and then things will sort out. I believe it was Adam McGill back in the 4th place position, so not sure who was in there in the number 2 and 3, but we'll get it all sorted out.
We got Walker Fowler out in the lead already. Not good news for everybody else.
Yeah, that's exactly where he wants to be.
Yeah, Chris Borch is in 2nd. I'm sure he's trying to stay right on his heels. Watch every move he makes, and then Wesley Wolf is in 3rd, and I didn't quite get the rest of the pack, but he should be coming through the field section here soon. We'll get it all figured out. No, that's not.
So this is mile marker 6, so I'm not sure. I need a sheet. I got it somewhere of what our next shot will be. There we go.
8.5 should be our next shot, and that's the field section. There is a massive field out back behind the starting line here. It's I mean, it's a good, I don't know, 3 minutes, 3 minutes in a field, so that'll be some good racing back there. Good opportunity to pass, and from there to the finish line, it's all really fast, a lot of open stuff, a lot of lines. So if it does come down to the last lap, it's going to be some good racing there at the end.
For sure. So what do you think as far as Florida goes? You kind of hear people talk about it, sort of an equalizer, the sand, not necessarily something a lot of these guys are used to riding in, although quite a few of them train down here in the winter. Do you think that's given them a competitive advantage coming into this one? I know Chris Borich down here trained in, some of those other guys as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think at one point it used to be an equalizer when not everybody came down here, but now almost everybody. I mean, Bryson wasn't down here and Jared wasn't. Out of the top 5, those are the only 2 that weren't down here training all winter long. But as we know, both of those guys are some of the toughest guys out here, so they'll work through it. But it is somewhat of an equalizer. I mean, I don't think anybody says sand is my specialty.
Sure.
But I think it'll still make for some good racing.
Bryson, notably, you know, he's been talking. He spent his summer in Ohio. He said he worked in some gravel pits and this. The confidence is there. Yeah. So you know, I don't think that's going to be lacking at all. So we'll see how this day turns out.
Yeah, the kid's got the speed. He's I tell you, if he would get his starts together, if he could get off the line and get up there front, instead of having to work through everybody at the first and second lap, that would make a world of difference for him. But you know, every race he still ends up front. So you know, I guess if it works for him, keep rolling with it.
I think at this point for Bryson, it's sort of the monkey on his back. You know what? I mentioned it to him yesterday. It's always the same question for him. what is it going to take to get himself up there at the center of the box? And he knows it as well as anybody else.
Yeah, I mean, he's been close a lot. He's right there. He just needs to keep working, keep working through it, working hard, pushing hard, training hard, and you know, it'll come sooner or later. I mean, he's been close a couple times. I know at Big Buck 2 years ago, I believe it was his first year in pro, he basically had the win in the bag and lost it there in like the last mile. But there have been countless times where it has been on his lips. I mean, he's got it there in front of him. So just a little bit more time and maybe a little bit more experience to run with these older guys. I mean, he's still a kid, young kid. So give him a couple more weeks or a couple more races, and you know, it should be there at any time.
Get this thing sorted out. So again, we're still looking at the FMF PowerPoint here at mile marker 6. Our next camera shot that we should see those guys rolling through would be the 8.5 mile marker. That's going to be that field shot. And then Walker, Boric. So we just got confirmation at the 5 mile marker. It was Walker, Boric, and McGill. There's your 1, 2, and 3. They'll be coming through that 6.5 coming up next. That's going to be that the corner of the woods there. See those great long shots of this FMF PowerPoint right here. We've got some good racing action already here in Palatka, Florida. The Moose Racing Wildboar. I can't believe we're talking about round number 2, 2018 already. So now we're getting a look at that woods section there as these guys are moving through the FMF PowerPoint. And we've got some great camera shots set up for this one. We were talking about it yesterday. Pretty exciting stuff. So should have some good shots of these leaders moving through here. Be able to keep you updated on that. So here's Boric working his way through there.
Yeah, so they're coming through this FMF PowerPoint 2 different times. The first time, I believe, is about mile 3, 3.5, and then they go back into the woods a little bit, and then now they're coming back through the FMF PowerPoint for the second time. Looks like they're getting spread out a little bit. Looks like Adam had a
How about that?
in his front fender, but plugging away. I know I rode out there this morning. It's out in that part of the track. It's incredibly dusty, so I would imagine that explains a little bit of separation in between each rider. Looks like we still have Walker in the lead, and like I say, everybody's a little bit separated, but we had Walker in the lead, Forch in second, McGill in third, and now we got Wesley coming through, Wesley Wolf, Richardson's right behind him, and looks like Bryson is hot on his heels.
Wow, how about it for these young guns right now, man? I tell you, they are. What's going on there?
That's Behan. He's come up through the pack a good bit. He's hanging in there as well. And as you can see, they're almost struggling to see even where the track is a little bit. It's so dusty out there, but.
So this is the dust you guys were talking about this morning. Everybody kept coming through saying, oh man, the track was dusty. It was dusty. There we're getting a look at Walker Fowler moving through the woods now.
Wow.
Look at him flow.
And the space he's got already betwing him and second place.
Yep. I mean, just effortless. So they're coming around the backside of the finish line right now. That's where that's at. So they're going to be coming up the backside of the finish line, and then here shortly out into this field section behind the starting line.
So this is exactly what Walker Fowler talks about, man. He wants to get out in front of this pack. He wants to get out early and just ride his own race, get completely away from everybody. And here we see our second place rider, Chris Boric, working his way through. I don't even know what the second difference is in those guys right now, but it's big.
Yep, pretty big already for the first lap. But it looks like, I mean, you see there's 2 different lines coming down there. Here in the Florida sand, if you get out of the main line, like the line Chris just came down, here we got Adam McGill coming down, but if you just jumped over one row in those pine trees, it's a lot smoother, and you notice where Walker was over in that smooth stuff.
Well, I'll tell you, Walker spent plenty of time down here in the sands of Florida, as a lot of the guys have, and he just seems to be so accustomed to these sands, as like we said, a lot of the guys. But what is it about Walker that lets him get that separation out there, man? Is it the dust? Is it just that he goes so fast in the early part of the race, or what is it?
I don't know. I tell you, he's the definition of a true champion. It doesn't matter if it's sand, rocks, mud, dry, dust, anything. It doesn't matter what it is. He puts his head down and rides just like he owns the place. So, and it works. So.
I tell you, this course, you're talking about the course there. We've got several different sections of race course out there. There's some tight sections. I actually rode the course from the start to the finish line, which put me past the 13-mile marker. They're amazingly, and we got great camera shots for this today. This last part of the track, a lot of opportunities for passing and things like that. And I really think it's going to set the stage for a great end to a great race today. And also, with that being said, you kind of wonder what it's like. Well, we had a chance to talk with Bolton about that, and actually he gave us a pretty good description of what we have to look forward to here for this Wildboar GNCC.
Welcome to sunny Florida for the 4th annual Wildboar GNCC. We're no stranger to this place. We've been here for, like I said, 4 years now, and we were actually here back in 03 and 04, a little further up the road. This is a great track. We got some open stuff, got some tighter stuff, got some really fast field sections, and even some mud holes. Back here behind me, you see this is the FMF PowerPoint, and we've ran this pretty much every year we've been here, and it's a little bit different this year. They're not quite running through this because actually, let me kind of show you something. This is a little bit different than it's been in the past. It's very, very wet, and as you can see, it's also it's pretty deep. So I don't think those guys really want to come out into here in the race. It's a little bit different, but the rest of the track's exactly what you'd expect out of Florida. But overall, I think this is going to be something everybody's really going to enjoy, and hope you enjoy watching the show too. So I brought some goggles with me. I think I'm going to go for a swim while I'm out here.
Oh, wow.
He is brave.
Yeah, he is.
Because there are signs all over the place that say, beware, gators are real. You're in Florida. This is not West Virginia or Pennsylvania. So, bolt on. Just doing his thing out there. Scuba diving here in Florida.
Here we come out into the big field section out behind the starting line. We got Walker Fowler obviously coming through in the lead, up on one wheel, just flowing like he does. As you can see, we still got some pretty decent sand, but he's giving a look back, seeing what kind of lead he's got.
And this is exactly, you talk about this all the time, this is where Walker wants to be. And if you talk to any of the other guys, Bryson, Chris Borich, Adam McGill, they say you don't want to let Walker get out in front. When he's in this kind of position, kicking up the sand's got time to settle even before you see another rider. And he's looking over the shoulder, no one in sight. Here we go, here's our second place rider coming up.
That's Borich.
So we've got Chris Borich now working his way through this section. But, man, what a lead for Walker. We thought he was out to prove a point in round one. I think he's making a bigger exclamation point on this in round two.
Yeah, I mean, this lead he's already got is pretty substantial. And like I say, I think a lot of it goes to the dust out there. It's going to be tough. And until they all run into lappers and they're all in an even playing field, I mean, the lead is a big advantage at this point. But, you know, give it some time. But as you can see, nobody is wheel to wheel, not yet anyway. And I would say that's all due to dust. I think the dust is pretty bad out there. Adam is hanging in there pretty close to Chris. I mean, he's a couple bike lengths off, a couple seconds off, but he's hanging in there tough.
Well, you know, you mentioned that you don't, the reason you don't think they're tight right now. Now, do you think that they're going to be able to find a way to tighten up as the race wears on? Is this something we're going to be seeing, you think, throughout the course? Is this going to be kind of a general thing, a lot of separation, and it's going to take a mistake for somebody to catch up to somebody?
I think there will be more separation than what we're used to, just because you do have the incredibly rough track and you do have a lot of dust. But as we get more into the race, everybody wears down a little bit and they get into some lappers.
That's a good point right there. The lappers.
The lappers are going to be a big thing, and the first person to catch the lappers always has the disadvantage, because when they come up on the lappers aren't sure. They're not sure that the person behind them is actually the leader. Once that person goes through, they then know the XC1 Pro class is coming through and they need to move over.
So whenever that happens, I guess it's probably best to be 10 or 15 seconds behind whenever you catch the tail of the pack then, huh?
Yeah, I mean, you can use that to your advantage, like, big time. If you're getting a little lazy, getting a little tired, and you're dropping back a little bit, wait for that guy in front of you to run into the back of a lapper and hold him up a little bit, you can pull right back up on him.
Very
but
nice.
It does look like we got some pretty good racing here. I mean, here comes Josh Merritt through the field section. We got Josh, Marty, Tucker Wyatt and Cody Collier wheel to wheel. So,
wow.
And I know this side of the track is much less dusty than the other side, and it's very fast as well. So
kind
that
of inherent to the property, I
field.
think. You know, this is a mud bog type of facility, so there's some areas that will have some of that nice loose sugar sand, and there'll be some of the areas that have the more moisture sand. So that's why you probably see white sands and black sands, and you say, well, how is there so many different colors of sand there? Well, there's a lot of things going on right here at the Robin Plantation.
Yeah, it is crazy. I mean, that just goes to show you how big of a piece of property this is, because we have 4 different sides of the tracks that offer 4 different types of terrain and 4 different types of dirt.
Yeah, you know, we came here to the Robin Plantation probably about the time that you were probably still in diapers around that time, around 2003, 2004 at that time. And, man, I tell you, it was certainly a great place. We had an amazing battle that day. One thing that really stands out that weekend was the rain and the water. We have water like that right there everywhere. Walker Fowler makes his way through here and approaching near the closer to the end of this race. We're looking at the 11.5 mile mark. We're still 1.5 miles, 2 miles away from the finish line at this point.
But it'll all happen fast. You know, this side of the track is incredibly fast, and as you can see, I mean, even coming through the mud section, these guys are on the throttle. They are rolling.
Now, something to point out about this mud, we see all these water holes. How deep is that water? We've seen Bolt-On actually waist deep and take a swim out there a little bit ago. Are they all like that?
That's your guess to take. I mean, some of them are a 1/4 inch deep. Some of them will submerge your foot. You cannot. The water is practically black. So you know, if you're feeling it, if you think you can skim across the top, maybe you can make it happen. But there we see Chris and Adam coming through.
And they are still nose to tail out there.
They're tightened up. And like I say, once they get on this side of the track, things will tighten up. Once they get back to the other side, dust will come into play. And
well, I tell you, you know, as we open up the 2018 championship season, we had just under 2,000 entries at the Big Buck GNCC when things got underway. We're getting off to another good start. We got some over 120 riders here this afternoon for the afternoon race. We had well over 200 for the AM race, and only about 50 kids for the youth ATV race. But, man, I tell you, for no more than 50 kids on the racetrack today, they put on a heck of a show.
Yep. And here comes Walker Fowler through the pits. He's grabbing a drink from his dad, and he is on a mission. He's going to check out early like he always does and keep moving.
All righty, so Walker Fowler heading down the BP Fuels Pro row there, and he has got, wow, there's 10 or 15 seconds that we're already taking note of, and a monumental lead over the rest of the field as they continue to jockey back. I believe it's still, is it McGill and Borch?
Yeah, we're gonna have well, as of the last camera shot, we're gonna have Borch coming through, and we're gonna have Adam hot on his heels. But as you can see, I mean, Walker is in fine condition, and he's already swinging in, grabbing a drink. Oh, look, we got Adam McGill coming through in second, so he has gotten around Borch. But I'm sure Borch isn't gonna let that one go easy.
So down through BP Fuels Pro Row go our leaders with a vengeance right now. And, folks, this is only the cutting edge of this 2-hour race. We haven't even completed this first lap of racing yet. So just now approaching the 12.5 mile marker. We'll get to see these guys back out here again in just a few moments. They came through the pits, and they'll be back out about the 12.5 mile marker. And then we'll be seeing them at the finish line there shortly after. There's Walker Fowler back through the field sections once more, making things happen out there. And look at that, not a lot of dust kicking up. I tell you, I mean, I think that things have settled down a little bit. There are just 1 or 2 sections that might seem to be a little bit, but look how nice this racetrack is. I mean, it makes you want to get out there and go riding, racing or riding, pleasure riding, either one. This right here, this track, looks like a dream track. 35 seconds is what we're looking at between first and second place. And was that's McGill still out there in that number 2 spot. Chris Borch using those alternative lines and trying to cut that track a little bit shorter there, going to the extreme inside. And it pays off a little bit. But, man, I tell you, the Gator is chomping out there right now as he's got the hammer down.
I tell you, he's in his swamp down here. Yeah, this is his swamp. He's like Shrek down here.
Yeah, no doubt.
And then you can see Jared McClure. He didn't have a great start either, but he is I think he is at least staying there, hanging in there, probably closing up a little bit. You know, they may be swapping positions, losing a little bit of time. One thing I did notice when they came through pro pits over here is Bryson has not gotten around those guys. They're holding him off pretty good. You can see Cole did get around Wesley just now. But Bryson has not gotten around those guys, which I was expecting them to move through them as quick as possible.
How about that for that hole shot for WW, man? I mean, that was pretty impressive to see that youngster be able to grab that hole shot, and that's a good opportunity for him to do some learning as well.
It's funny how those two Suzukis, I mean, we only got 2 guys in the pro classes on Suzukis, and those are the only 2 guys, to my knowledge, that are lining up on Pro Row without 24-volt starting system.
Really?
And both of them are always up front on the start. So.
You gotta wonder what would happen if they had a 24-volt system.
Yeah, exactly. There's apparently those Suzukis don't need them. I know that. So I don't know if the other guys want them to have it. So
they're trying to keep that a secret, probably. Now this is a section of the track leading into the finish line right here. Yep. I did ride this section of the track, and I got off. I was curious. I was like, man, that's probably only an inch deep. Well, this little section right here, well, one section behind, the deepest I found was about 15 inches.
Yeah, that's deep enough.
That's deep enough. But you can't tell that, and if you go through it, it could waller out and get even worse.
Absolutely.
It is called the hog waller, by the way.
Absolutely. And as of now, I mean, here in the beginning laps, I don't think we'll see any of that at all.
No.
But, you know, come the second to last lap, especially considering this is right before the finish line, I can bet we're going to have some people trying to blitz those mud holes. They're going to waller right through them.
Yeah, they're not going to show their cards anytime before the finish line, I don't think. And if they have waited out there and checked it out for themselves, and I think that most of those guys probably took a minute to go out with a stick and just see if there happened to be a solid line out there. And
yeah, and you can see a lot of the riders out doing that. They are doing that when they're walking the track. I saw a bunch of dirt bike guys out doing it right now. But looks like here we got Walker Fowler coming into the finish line area for the first time. They actually came through here once already, but as you can see, the ruts are, oh, he is going through it. But as you can see, the ruts are getting incredibly deep already. Right. I mean, he's already high centering in the middle of them.
What's that going to mean for the race? I mean, that's going to start, people are going to start getting stuck, and other lines are going to have to open up.
It's only going to get worse, and, you know, this is the first lap, so, and, you know, they took a dozer and even smoothed it out. But as you can see there, they're already starting to take alternate lines around it because, you know, if you're sitting there high-centered and can't get any traction, you're not going anywhere. So
McGill and Boric 2 and 3 as they make their way here to the finish line, as you can see, coming out of the 1,000-acre woods. About 6,000 acres of land and terrain that we have here at the Robin Plantation to play on this weekend. Isn't it great?
Incredible. So it's a massive piece of property. You can see here we got Jared McClure coming through. He's hanging in there tough. You know, like I say, he's one of the guys that one of the front runners that hasn't been down here in Florida like the rest of them. But he's not going to let that stop him. I mean, as you can see, he's hanging in there just fine. He's going to keep pushing through the sand, and I'd imagine he'll be there at the end of the race as well.
Oh, you know, the thing about you got to say about McClure is he's one of those riders that it seems like he gets stronger as the race wears on.
Oh, no.
Who was that?
You can see Bryson has closed the gap on Cole and Wesley.
Okay.
Oh, Bryson, yeah, he must have got hung up in that mud hole a little bit, but he, I'm sure he's going to be wanting to get around them as soon as possible because the leaders are just getting away from him quickly.
Well, let's take a look at things right now. Walker Fowler is in right now. He had a 28.8 second lead over Chris Boric at the finish line barrels. Adam McGill checked in another 17.6 seconds behind him. That was, I guess, after that first lap of racing. And then here we are with Jared McClure, another 6.2 seconds back. So I guess it's 28, 17, and 6. And now there is Cole Richardson checking in. He is now getting credit for the number 5 spot, just ahead of Wesley Wolf, who is 6. Bryson Neal running in the number 7 position. They are about 25 seconds off that 4th place position ride right now, and only a handful of seconds separating 5th, 6th, and 7th as we roll into lap number 2.
Here comes Devin Feehan through the finish line. He's kind of in no man's land right now, which makes it tough, I'm sure.
And that's even tougher for a rookie like that, because as fast as this kid is, he doesn't really have anybody that he can race with right now to gauge himself off of it with big time.
Yeah, it makes it tough. I mean, I actually ran into that problem a lot last year, and it's really tough to do. It's you don't have anyone to gauge off of. You have no idea if you're going plenty fast enough or you're slacking off. It's you don't know until it's too late normally. So as long as he can keep his composure and just push as hard as he possibly can, I'm sure he'll be fine. But you just need it's so much better if you can catch somebody and try and pull up on them and gauge off of them, so you can you just know where you're at throughout the race.
It's got to be a mental battle out there when you're by yourself and you don't, all you see is just a little bit of dust trail carrying from these guys, and you're like, when am I going to catch someone? I'm trying as hard as I can. You may be making time up,
well,
but at the same time,
some of these guys might not even be seeing dust right now. I mean, if you look at the gaps, you got 28 seconds between first and second, and then as you go back here a little bit further, Wesley Wolf to actually Bryson Neal to Devin Feehan is 56, almost 57 seconds, so he's not seeing any dust
and
whatsoever.
The problem with that is, like you were saying, it's a mental game. You almost start thinking too much sometimes. You start looking around, you start seeing if you can find somebody anywhere, and most of the time you end up putting more concentration on that than you do actually racing. So, Casey, like you say, it is definitely a mental game.
Impact Solutions, Casey Greek joining us here in the booth now, and Casey is a big part. He's got his thumb on the pulse of this society, doing suspension work and tuning, and he knows these guys all personally out there. So, Casey, I know watching this race, what's your take on it so far, man?
So far it looks good. I think the dust is the biggest thing that's playing an effect in here with these guys, with the gaps that we're seeing. But at the same time, it's part of the race, and going back to these guys getting out there by themselves and falling behind a little bit and losing track of where they're going is, the dust comes into play. All the trees start to look the same, but overall the race, it looks fantastic. I was out on the track earlier today for the Ace race and, kind of got into the woods a little bit. I don't get to do that very often. I'm usually kind of locked up by one of the trucks helping out there, and the track looks phenomenal. A lot of pine needle covering, and so the track don't get broke in until, after they come by, and then you can really start to see the pace pick up.
Well, back out here at the power sections, these sections right here, man, blind choice could be critical, as we've seen already. We see some guys trying to dip into the water, other guys just trying to strip the outsides of the water. But as we roll into and through this second lap of racing, it's going to be a lot of ground to catch up for Forage and McGill, the boys. As we said, some 30 seconds now behind Fowler. McCord not real far off their pace. Cole Richardson rounding out the top 5. He's looking at about 25 seconds. He's in a place all by himself right now. It's a hard place for him to run whenever we're taking a look at him just coming back after a year off of racing. But at the same time, it's a good place for him to be in that top 5. Wesley Wolf is running in the 6th place position. Bryson Neal still in 7th. 8th place, Devin Feehan. 9th place, Marty Christopherson, the Richford Rocket himself. And rounding out the top 10, the number 15, a Tucker Wyatt. Wyatt's here with us, and good to see him getting and breaking into that top 10 like that. And of course, with that kind of sets the stage for another great day of racing here in the sands of Florida. You want to know how it's all going to pan out? Can Walker Fowler keep this pace? Will anybody be able to dent that lead? Stick around. GNCC Live continues after this.
What is your passion? Hitting the perfect line, finding the perfect trail, routing the perfect adventure, or just living and breathing the moto life? Do you feel pride for a job well done after tackling a late night in the shop? Do you enjoy time spent with friends and family in the great outdoors? Spanning over 3 decades, one name has taken the lead for supplying the best powersport parts, accessories, and apparel to fuel your passion. One name that knows it goes beyond getting you the best prices, quickest shipping, or largest selection. One name that builds and innovates for our industry. One name that teaches, helps, and supports our fellow riders, racers, and organizations. We are Rocky Mountain ATV MC. We have transformed a team of moto enthusiasts into a powerful teaching team to ensure that you make the best purchasing decision with your hard-earned cash. We build communities with fellow riders to provide you with all you need to make a good decision. See customer photos, reviews, Q&As, and more while you're on our easy-to-use website. Need help fast? Live chat with our specialists, email, or drop us a line. Visit us today and experience the best in OEM and aftermarket parts, accessories, apparel, and industry-leading information. We offer lightning quick shipping, free on orders over $75, a huge inventory, free apparel exchanges both ways, and customer service that leaves all others behind. Experience one name that leads all others. Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Get ready.
I'm a sore loser.
I'm a sore loser.
Losing is not an option for me.
Be the best.
The best.
The best.
You have to have the best equipment under the hood.
That's why
I only use
Cometic products in my engines.
Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket. Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket, a superior quality gasket
For those of us who demand the highest level of performance.
We handle your races, your jumps, and your trails. Isn't it time you give your daily driver the same love? AMSOIL's Signature Series synthetic motor oil delivers 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard. AMSOIL also offers a full family of ATV, UTV lubricants, giving you above and beyond fortification for your weekday and weekend vehicles. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
And welcome back to GNCC Live as we come to you from Palatka, Florida for round number 2, the Moose Racing Wildboar GNCC. Rodney Tomlin along with Landon Wolf, also Mikey Waynes and Casey Greek joining us here on a Saturday as well. Big Chad Weenan in the house, a 5-time ATV motocross champion. Do you see the guns on that dude?
Golly, I mean,
Whoa, come back
what was he
here, Chad.
doing over here?
Parker, we work
He just broke the house.
Those guys are all going to
Look at, he's lean, short hair now.
Look at him. I ain't seen him in a while. He looks pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
he is lean and mean fighting machine now.
Joel Hetrick better watch out on Tuesday at the ATV Supercross, it looks like. Wow, that's going to be a good one. You can watch that right here on RacerTV.com and on GNCC Live through our ATVMX Live through our pages there on Facebook. So be sure and check that out for sure. But wow, my mind's completely blown away. But I'll give you an update on what's going on. Coming through there at the 3-mile marker, Walker Fowler has made his way through about 30 seconds back. Still the 5:21 of the Gator McGill. And right behind him is Chris Borich in that number 3 position.
Here we got a replay of them coming through the first section of the PowerPoint. And as you can see, I mean, when they came through the first lap, that was all sand they were touching. When they drop down in there, it's already getting pretty wet, deep ruts. And he's in and out.
Wow, looking good. Now let me add, did you guys get a chance to ride that section of course?
Yeah, we it's part of it, almost all of it. But yeah, it's that sand that has no bottom out there. I mean, you could dig the China if you wanted to. It's
There's one of our leaders. That is actually one of the that's 8th place rider, number 9, Devin Behan, now making his way through.
I was actually over and watched the finish of your race, and even the ruts at the finish line, people were getting stuck and hung up and high-centered like crazy, and I'm just like, it's got to be, 10 times worse out in the woods.
Yeah, I mean, by the end of this race, these guys are going to be, they're going to be all over the place, just trying to keep their tires on the ground, digging dirt.
Well, again, as we take a look at this, wondering how things are going.
Here, example A right here.
Oh, yeah, that's it. That's going to get rough for those guys, but speed's going to be, you're going to have to keep momentum to get through this section of the racetrack. But taking a look back a little bit further in the pack, oftentimes this first couple laps with these riders just trying to feel things out, you see these XC2 guys usually up top 10, top 5 sometimes. Well, today that's not so much the case. You take a look at it, Hunter Hart's all the way back at 12th. He's leading that XC2 Pro-Am class. You got Matt Lindell about 2.5 seconds behind him. They got a 25-second gap back to Drew Landers, who is 14th overall, 3rd in class. John Clauda is 4th in class and 15th overall. Gabe Nod out of Canada welcoming him on the 252. He rounds out the top 5 in class, and he is 16th overall. Then you got Kenny Schick from the XC2. You got Austin Abney, 18th in the XC2. 19th, Noah Mickelson, ATV motocross rider. That's your Rockford Fosgate Tyloom Honda rider, leading the College A class. His first time ever racing woods was last year when he tried some C-class racing, and he thought, well, I'll give it a try in the A-class this year. And lo and behold, nearly won last time. He got second. He's out front this time. It's going to be interesting to see how the Moto Stars do here in the sands of Florida.
Yeah, absolutely. I do see right behind him, about just over a half a second behind him, is Ronnie Rush, young kid, first year in the afternoon race, and so I'm sure
That's impressive too, right there. When you're talking about little Ronnie right there. Well,
especially,
not so little Ronnie
especially
anymore.
well, he's a small kid, and being down here in Florida, as rough as this place is, I mean, it's I'm sure it's brutal on him. This track's going to be taxing. So, but you know, he does have a lot of experience in the woods. Noah Mickelson, obviously fast on a four-wheeler as well. That could be a good race in the end.
It most certainly can be. I can't wait to see how that one pans out. We'll keep an eye on that College A class right now. Noah Mickelson leading I call him Little Ronnie Rush. He's not so Little Ronnie Rush anymore. He's getting bigger. But anyway, I want to point out too, Brian Baker. You remember Brian Baker, former XC1 Pro? He might have been before your time.
Yes, that was before my time, but I do remember him.
Brian is back. He showed up in South Carolina. He's racing Big Buck. He lined up today, 45 years old. Here's the cool thing. He's coming out with his son. It's a father-son effort. His son races in the morning. He races in the afternoon.
There goes Hunter Hart through, I believe that's the first section of the FMF PowerPoint. It could be, yeah, that is the first section of the FMF PowerPoint. Looks like he's opened up the lead a little bit. I know he had an issue at round one that set him back a good bit. He was pretty disappointed in that, but he's been down here training in Florida all winter too, so I know he's hungry for more. Here comes Walker into the
Wow, coming out of that Monster Mile section. Did you get a chance to run Monster Mile this morning?
I did not that I know of.
Yeah.
I could have.
Did you see a mile of Monster banners anywhere?
I don't know that that's actually, it's a complete mile of Monster banners.
Well, it doesn't have to be a mile. All it has to be is Monster and tough section. That's the idea behind it. It has to feel like a mile, a long mile.
It probably was, and I probably was in it at some point, but you know, that's tough stuff out there. I try and keep my eyes on the road. Here we got Adam McGill coming into the second section of the FMF PowerPoint.
It seems like he's by himself, but he's not. I mean,
no, well, it's hard to see Chris in there behind him, so I'm sure Chris is getting tired of eating his dust, but you're probably going to be looking to see a pass out of him here soon, or at least a shot at it anyway.
Yeah.
And here we got the I guess that's I think that's third and fourth place in XC2 coming through the first section. Right behind them is Jared McClure hanging in there. He's going to have to get on the gas a little bit to close up that gap on second and third, but he's hanging in there.
That kind of tends to be Jared's MO. He hangs back there fourth, fifth, and, you know, right at the end, last couple of laps, I think he took a note out of old Chris Ford's, you know, handbook, and he seems to strike late. And the reason Rodney calls him the sneaky snake. He's always going to be there at the end of it. And, he just kind of bides his time.
He does, and whenever he starts out in fourth or fifth place position, I never count that guy out. I mean, he just kind of hangs back there. He don't look like he's making a lot of noise, but it's always, he just seems to capitalize somehow, and he capitalizes huge, you know, because it seems like he's outside of it, and then all of a sudden he's right in the middle of it.
Here we got, looks like Bryson has gotten around Wesley and Cole. He's on the gas, as you can see there. He's pushing hard, rolling hard, and you know, one good thing that could happen is he catches up to Jared, and those two work together to catch the lead pack. But here you got Walker Fowler coming into this section, and look at him. He hops out of the main line, gets on some fresh track, jumps over a log, and back onto the track. I mean, that's just smart racing right there. It doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah, if you're watching this, you might learn how to conserve some energy. You wonder how people can go that fast, that hard, and not wear down. It's a matter of riding the smart lines. Look at this, nose to tail nearly for Chris Borich on the rear wheels and grab bar of the 521. Adam McGill, as they come through this same section of racetrack now.
These guys are no strangers to each other. They've been doing this together for countless years, and, you know, the battles that they've had at this track in particular is incredible, and to see those guys together as Jared's starting, maybe looking like he's closing in just a little bit. He's about 14, 15 seconds behind those guys, and Bryson Neal's going to be the next guy we're going to see here, and that guy is an animal, and I think it's going to spark a flame under Jared, and they're going to take off and try to make a run at that top three, top four guys.
I think the best thing that could happen for Jared right now is Bryson does push really hard and catch up to him. Those two can work together, you know, draft off of each other. and put in some work to catch, maybe not Walker, but at least second and third. But it looks like the gap back to Bryson is a pretty big gap. I mean, he had a rough first lap, took him a while to get through some riders, but he's plugging away.
Well, I tell you, taking a look at some of these other classes, we were talking about the College A class. Let's go ahead and look at some more real quick. The XC2 class, as we take a look at that one, as we knew, Hunter Hart leading that one. He had about a 2.5-second lead over Matt Lindell. That's got to be a good race, too. Matt Lindell's really been coming on strong in that XC2 class a lot, especially last year. Now that we see him this year, it looks like he's doing great as well.
Yeah, he's been working hard here recently. He's always he's a consistent competitor. He's always there. He rides smart. He rides smooth. You watch him ride through the woods. He seems like he's always in good control of the bike. He's a big boy, and yeah, I'm sure he's looking for wins, just like everybody else is.
I saw you had a clock there on the number 2 of Bryson Hill. How far is he back from that pack?
Yeah, he's got a little bit to go. It looks like he's about 48 seconds off of Jared, which that's a long ways, especially just being like about halfway through the second lap. But I wouldn't put it past Bryson. I mean, he's a bulldog, and he'll get out there and push pretty hard.
Well, Drew Landers, the number 18, running in the 3 spot. John Glotta is 4th in the XC2 Pro-Am. Gabe Nod in the number 5 spot aboard the 252. He's out of Canada. Kitty Schick out of Newcastle, PA is 6. Austin Abney and 7 aboard the 703 from Petersburg, Indiana. Great Bend, Pennsylvania, Bing Kowalewski. The 219 is 8th. Brody Livingood, the 33 and 9th out of Falling Waters, West Virginia, rounding out the top 10. Nick Royalty from Scottsburg, Indiana. That's your XC2 Pro-Am class. Now we take a look at that College A class after a lap. We've got Noah Mickelson out of Rockwell, North Carolina, only a half second at the finish line ahead of Ronnie Rush. This will be interesting to see how this one pans out. I think Noah was battling for the lead. He got pinched out and dropped to about 4th or 5th, and I'm not sure what happened after that, but this is going to be a good race shaping up. Bodie Lamoureux back in the number 3 spot, 1 minute and 17 seconds over 3rd place. Those guys have got a blistering fast pace going right now. Matthew Blankenship is running 4th. Jake Wishmeyer is rounding out the top 5 in the College A. Next class we look at, Junior A, is James Mauger Jr. out of Williamstown, New Jersey, a 16.5-second lead over the 75 of Jade Millwood from Cleveland, Georgia. In 3rd spot, the 83 of Eric Straub from Tower City, Pennsylvania. 4th place, the 86 Ryan Thompson from Summertown, Tennessee. Rounding out the top 5, the 450 of Ben Danner out of Cumming, Georgia, there in that Junior A 22-plus class. The Bet A class, not a lot of riders, but we did have several folks that were out there vying for this one. And the Vet A 30-plus class, I don't even see Big Papa P, Jeff Pickens. He was battling with Nick Carnelli for that number 1 spot. There's your leader, by the way. If you're watching RacerTV, we're out near the 12-mile marker. And that should be getting
this is about the 8-mile marker.
Okay, well, they got the wrong graphic.
Yeah, they got the wrong graphic on there. Look at this. They Adam and Chris have actually closed the gap.
Whoa.
In my mind, they're definitely closer out in that field this lap than they were last lap. And it doesn't really seem like they're too far behind, honestly. But Adam does still have that number 2 spot, and Chris is hot on his heels.
Yeah, and this may be a little deceiving because this is a long field section, and it takes a long time to get from over there to right there. So we're still looking at about that 30-second gap between the battle of 1st and 2nd and 3rd.
Yep. They still got a long way to go, but it does look like they've somewhat held him true this lap. They haven't let him get a big
got away,
gap
that's
there.
For sure. So right now, continuing watching these guys as we go into the Senior A class. Brian Halsey, the 414 from Washington, Missouri, leading that one. We got second place, the 410 of John Salsa from Warwick, Rhode Island. Here comes the number 3, and that again, Jared McClure checking in the 4th place position. Still holding steady, looks like there as well.
Yeah, he's hanging in there. I mean, he's going to be a tough guy there in the end of the race. He had a little bit of a slow start the last race. He had a couple issues there at the beginning. And, you know, he's come. I'm sure he'll come on strong in this second hour.
Well, Halsey leading the Senior A. John Salsa is 2nd. Richard Taylor in 3rd. Michael Hayes in 4th. And Roberto Rivera out of San Sebastian, Puerto Rico. We got a lot of the Puerto Ricans here with us this weekend. A lot of the South Americans here with us this weekend. So we'll welcome everybody out here. And, of course, they brought in full force. There's a lot of them out here this afternoon. A lot of them this morning. But speaking of this morning, wow, what a race. You were a part of that one, Landon. You had yourself a pretty good show, and, man, tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, we had a good battle this morning. I mean, I jumped into the 4x4 Pro class this year, and it was we had a great race this morning. Got a good start, and the whole time, I mean, me and Kevin Cunningham were back and forth all day long. Unfortunately, it came down to the last couple corners, and I followed him through the finish line. But we had great racing, and I know the women's class had some great racing, and even Schoolboy Senior had some good racing as well.
Well, Mikey Wayne's had a chance to catch up with our top guys this morning.
Well, down here with Landon Wolf taking a second-place finish today, man. Certainly a better result than round 2. But maybe not necessarily the result I know you're seeking this season.
Yeah, I mean, we're new to the class this year, so we're getting our feet wet. We got a really strong competitor in here. Kevin's on rails on his bike right now, but we had an issue at round 1, came out here, got a good start, hooked up with Kevin. We had a really good race, good clean racing the whole time. And, you know, I'm feeling more comfortable all the time. Every lap we go, I feel like I'm getting faster, getting better. So looking forward to the rest of the year.
There we go, Landon Wolf with a second-place finish today in the 4x4 Pro. Take it back to you guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Mikey. And, wow, Landon, you're fast. Mikey's fast. You guys are all the way back down here already.
Yeah, I mean, I went down there, got all dirty, finished the race, did my interview, and ran right back up here to fans booth with you guys. That was actually pretty impressive. I'm impressed with myself.
I am impressed with you. I know we joke around about that, but with the way things work around here, man, I mean, we got so many different premier classes, and we got to highlight as much as we possibly can. We got leaders coming into the mud hole section here. This is Walker Fowler once again, and look at this. It's getting soupy through there, man. It's starting to get a little bit sloppier through there, which could indicate as time goes on, maybe this is starting to be a trouble part of the track.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, the more they go through it, the worse it's going to get. And one thing I noticed, I'm sure this is going to be a 4-lap race, but 4 laps is going to push this race long. They're going to run over 2 hours. But another thing I've noticed, they have closed that gap up a little bit. They were 28 seconds behind at the end of the first lap, and now they're only about 22, 23. So I know it's not much, but they have pulled up on Walker a little bit. I don't know if Walker's just relaxing, getting in the groove, but they have closed up on him a hair.
That's amazing. Right now, as we continue to watch riders check in, we're rolling toward the finish line. According to my timing and scoring calculations, if I can get there real quick, our leaders should be checking in at the finish line in about 7.5 minutes, and this will give us a chance to say hello to this young lady next to me right now from On Track Schools, which is basically a homeschooling program for motorsports enthusiasts or any type of sports enthusiast. They've got a program, an accredited program, not only for high school and elementary school, but also accredited college programs. And we welcome Andrea Lee to the program from On Track. Welcome, Andrea.
Thank you, Rodney. It's really exciting to be here. You know, I'm embarrassed to say it's my first GNCC. You've been telling me for years to come, so here I am.
Well, what do you think so far?
I think these are where the real racers are. I mean, this is amazing. I walked out and I watched the start of the last race, and it was incredible.
Yeah, it's a pretty big series. It's a lot of people out here. A lot of people put their lives into this sport. So yeah, it's and a lot of kids do it too. So
yeah, I'm sure that a lot of kids put a lot of effort into it. Walker Fowler, one of those. He just checked in the pits. Here's the Gator McGill in the pits. We'll talk with Andrea and talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But we got, I'd say that Adam McGill, or excuse me, that Chris Borich is in the pits. We see, yep, there's Borich in the pits. There goes McGill out of the pits. So the top 3 have pitted here. And we got to wonder whether or not that McClure and some of these other guys are going to try to utilize this time and make up a little bit of time. Now, sometimes that works, sometimes it don't. Almost have to think it wouldn't be beneficial this time.
I don't know. I mean, I know the battle between McGill and Borich. Had a mind blank there. I know the battle between McGill and Borich, I think they're pushing each other really hard, and I think that's actually causing them to close up on them. Now, like we were talking with Devin earlier, he's kind of in no man's land. McClure is in that same position right now. He has nobody around him to base off of, see how fast he's going, if he's going plenty fast, not fast enough. It's hard. It's really hard to ride like that. You have to be a strong-minded person.
You do have to be strong-minded. One way to help make that strong mind as Walker Fowler makes his way through this field section now is to make sure that you've got good study skills. And Andrea, talk a little bit about, if folks want to know, I'm just going to tell you, it's an accredited program. A lot of the top motocross stars and other athletes are using this program. You guys have teachers that they can communicate with on a constant basis. I mean, it's not just like, here's your stuff, go do it, send it back to me.
Right, exactly. So we are accredited K through 12, and we have online college courses. And it's a program that you can take with you anywhere you go. So if school is working for you now, that's great, but there does come a time when absenteeism becomes an issue. So we feel that we've got a great solution. It's a program that you can take with you, but the teachers are amazing in our program.
If we want to know more, obviously if we're here, we can stop at the booth up by rider registration. If we're not here, or we want to check into it later, how do we do that?
Just go to ontrackschool.com, follow us on Instagram, send me a message, and I'll get back to you and send you some personalized information.
All right, that sounds great. Andrea, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for bringing this to this sport, because it was needed. And I know I believe in the program, and everybody I talk to, they have graduations at Loretta Lynn's. They've got yearbooks. It's all kind of, it's really, really neat. Back to the racing.
Thank
Landon,
you.
what am I losing here, man? What did I miss?
Well, it looks like, I don't know if I missed Cole come through or not, but I saw Wesley just come in. He just came in and pitted. Looked like he had a little bit of issues there in the pit. I don't know if he was having a problem with his camelback or what was going on. I saw him trying to take it off there at the end, but he eventually, I think, just kept it on and got going again. Here comes Bryson through the field section. Like I say, he finally did make it through some of the slower riders that he needed to get through, but he's got a long way to go. You know, I think he's got probably nearly a minute at the last lap behind Jared. But look at this, Cole Richardson. I did miss Cole. He is hanging in there with Bryson. He's not letting him go just that easy. So we got Borch, and then Jared, then Bryson, then Cole, then a little bit back's Wesley, and then it looks like we got Feehan out there behind Wesley.
Funk Master Feehan. That's what you see, Funk Nation. I wondered what that was all about. Funk Nation is because Levi Cohen started calling him Funk Master Feehan a few years ago, and now it's just plain funk.
He is kind of funky. He is a funk master. I mean, if you watch him ride, he has a unique riding style, but the kid trains like mad. He's in very good shape, and you know, he's getting his feet wet in the XC1 class. It is a big change coming to XC1, so I don't think he quite had the results he wanted in round one, but I think slowly but surely he'll eventually get the hang of it, and he'll be right up there soon. And as you can see, he's already made leaps and bounds progressing just to the second round. But.
Yep, Walker Fowler going through that water hole there. You can see it looked a little deeper that time going through. Water splashing up. Not much of an issue. Don't have to worry about that sucking up into the motor. But checking in with 2 laps complete now is Walker Fowler, as he is on his way to what looks like 2 wins in a row to open up the season. There is the 521, Adam McGill and Chris Borch running in the 2nd and 3rd place positions as they will be checking in here.
I did get confirmation, Rodney. 2-lap card will be coming out.
Awesome. So 2-lap card out. Adam McGill and Chris Borch are in, and of course we were watching Feehan there a moment ago and talking about him. Really neat kid, man, and if you had a chance to catch up with him and talk with him, you'd see exactly what we're talking about. And our camera crew just that.
Yeah, I feel good. I'm glad I got through that race clean. I made a few mistakes I didn't want to make, and I really plan not to, but you know, I'm just glad I got through that first round. And you know, me and Ron were talking. We say, you know, you're a rookie round 1, but round 2 you're not. So you know, I'm definitely looking forward to getting out there with these guys again. You know, I made a few bike changes and all, but I think as far as running with these guys, you know, I think it's definitely going to take time adapting to this class. You know, last year me and Hunter went at it hard, and, you know, we both wanted that win, but, you know, now I'm mixed in with 15 guys that all want it just as bad as I do, and I've always loved the idea of racing with guys like that, and, you know, I've watched a lot of top guys in sports and just really love that competition, and this front row sure does have it.
Well, I'll tell you, those battles he had last year with Hunter Hart, I think, have certainly prepared him for the speeds that he's going to need to run here in the XC1 class. The thing is just being able to get with those guys and stay with them. I think it's just we're only a race or two away from seeing him, I think, race for podium contention, honestly. I mean, I believe that. I've watched this as a kid and Hunter Hart. I know that there's a lot of maturity up there, but I know that he's got a lot of speed and he's got a lot of funk, as they like to say.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the kid trains so hard. His heart's in the sport, and I think all he needs is some experience, which obviously the only way to get that is time. So give it a little bit of time, and he'll be hanging in there. I just saw Bryson and Cole come through, finish. Cole is hanging right in there with Bryson. One thing I did notice with Bryson, he wears like a fanny pack, camelback, runs the strap up over his shoulder. And being that it's Florida, it's hot, it's sandy, it's rough, you're probably going to want water. But I noticed his camelback hose was dragging in the mud. Ooh. So it doesn't look like he's going to be able to use that. So
now, we're looking right now, I think temperature's about 73, 74 degrees. It's kind of overcast. Is this hot conditions to ride in? I guess it would be, considering it's early in the year and most of us aren't really acclimated to warmer temperatures.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, we're all used to being bundled up north, or most of us anyway, but you know, it's not blistering hot. It's only 73, 74 degrees, but this is probably by far the roughest track that we have all year. So with the decently warm weather, the rough track, the sand, the dust, it does make for a tough day.
It does, and it's amazing to me how each track is uniquely tough and challenging in its own way. That's what makes it a GNCC course, I guess.
That's the best thing about GNCC courses. I mean, some people may not like the sand, some people may not like the clay, but there's literally a track of all kinds for any type of racer.
Right now we are an hour and 6, almost 7 minutes into this race, and it is Fowler, McGill, Borch, McClure, Neal, your top 5. Back to 6, Cole Richardson. Wesley Wolf, the sophomore, in 7th. Devin Behan, the rookie, is 8th. Marty Christopherson in 9th. And Tucker Wyatt rounds out the top 10. I'm going to go back and check in with some more of these classes. We ran through all the college classes there a few moments ago. By the way, just to let you know, look at this right here. Past winners here at Florida, at this particular venue, Rodman Plantation, in 2003 and 2004, it was the Balance brothers. Brandon Balance took the win in 03, and then Bill Balance took the win in 04. We took that break as we went down to South Florida for a little while and a couple of other places in between, Vero Beach and places like that. Come back here in 2015. Walker Fowler has been the man to beat. The last 3 years, 15, 16, 17, he was the man to beat, and likely he's going to be the man to beat in 2018 as well. So pretty impressive stats, I think, that young man is really starting to post up right now.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I think he's the man to beat everywhere. He's got a massive target on his back. Everybody knows he is the man to beat. He's a smart rider, just like when we saw him come through this section last lap. I mean, most people see a wide open straightaway, wide open the whole way down it, right? Walker comes to that, he sees a better line to the right of it, squeezes through the trees, gets on a smooth line, hops over a log, and it's all good.
171, that's Grayson Eller there. We just seen on the screen, he is actually second place in the College B class. He is a minute and 46 seconds behind the leader of that class, Jeremy Ledon, who is a former motocross racer himself. And Jeremy Ledon leading, Grayson Eller second. Hunter Harris is third in this class aboard the 504. By the way, Ledon, former motocrosser out of Glenshaw, Pennsylvania. Grayson Eller out of Salisbury, North Carolina on that Rockford Fallscape Tylube Factory Honda there. Hunter Harris out of Trevorton, Pennsylvania in third. Chase Allison out of McAllentown, Pennsylvania is fourth. Colby Clark out of Noonan, Georgia rounds out your top 5. 334, Colton Dobbs. He's in 6th out of Glen Easton, West Virginia. Carter Kearns from Fairmont, West Virginia in 7th. 139, Aaron Bosley from Lanacoming, Maryland in 8th. 9th is the 423 of Jeremy Haney out of Upper Black Eddy, Pennsylvania. And Alec Vanderpool from Indianola, Iowa, rounding out your top 10 there in the College B class. Next class, Junior B 22-plus class, the Flying 14, Dustin Ulrich out of Trevorton, Pennsylvania, 14-second lead over Emily Wise. The young Emily Wise, she has got her second hole shot of the season against these boys in the Junior B 22-plus class, and Emily really throwing it down out there. As we said, she's opened up with the lead. She's got second right now very comfortably, a minute and 45 seconds over third place, the 489 of Cody Holcomb from Richwood, West Virginia. She is on fire right now. 855, Blaze Taylor, the 4th place position out of Fairland, Indiana on a Suzuki. 5th place, Nathaniel Tickle out of Bland, Virginia on the 317. 6th place, Derek Way, the 352 from Fairland, Indiana. 7th place, 209, Charlie Rogers, Washington, Pennsylvania. And 358, Tristan Jones out of Newland, North Carolina, rounding out the 8th place position. Vet B 30-plus class, Zachary Phillips, the 74 out of Parsons, West Virginia, 26-second lead over the 849 of Steve Barber out of West Camp, New York. In 2nd place is, as we said, Barber. Then 3rd place, I should have said, Chris Conklin, the 719 from Sistersville, West Virginia, 28 seconds back. Lodge Blazinski, the rider from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, minute 10 seconds back on the 546 in 4th. Gee whiz. 5th place, 698. New York, Dave Napo out of Eden, New York. Did you see the Instagram post that Ken Hill put with the rider straight up and down?
Yes.
Looking at his skid plate. That was New York Dave Napo. He had, I'll show you the picture. We can't show it online because it's a bare tushy, but his bum was black. It was bruised on one cheek so bad, and it was so swollen. I mean, you could see the difference. I mean, it looked like he had 2 different types of buck cheeks there. But he's back out. He said, I'm going to try to do a couple of laps today. He said, how he's doing it, I don't know. John Sutton, the 803 and 6th out of Newfield, New Jersey. 7th place, Wesley Smith out of Lexington, Ohio on the 552. 8th place, Dustin Dickerson out of Warsaw, Ohio. 9th place, 753, David Rudder Jr. from Nelsonville, Ohio. And that's a quick look and rundown of all of our classes so far, top 5, 10 in each one of those classes. So we got a nice slice of the pie. We got a lot of great competition like we're watching right here. Walker Fowler through the FMM PowerPoint.
Yeah, it looks like he's being smooth as ever. Like I say, I mean, I know I should have put a timer on that. It looks like about 52 seconds he went into the woods there. It looks like he may have noted that Adam and Chris were catching him a little bit because he has definitely stretched the lead back out. And we are waiting. And then, look, they've already made an alternate line through there because it's getting so soft, so watery. But
gotta wonder if, well, yep, there they've already found it.
There they come. And he has stretched that lead out quite a bit, I believe. I mean, he's probably about 40 seconds ahead now. So he's gapped him 20 seconds since the finish line. But Chris Forge is still hot on Adam's heels. You got to think, is he waiting? Is he waiting until the last lap? But, oh, was that Jared?
That might have been.
That guy had the same color helmet on as Jared. If it was, he is definitely closed it.
Well, that's kind of traditional for Jared McClure, sneaky snake, if you will. And we'll keep watching right here with bated breath to see there's Ryan Eccles, Junior Trail Boss, making his way out of that section of the track. Nobody coming real soon. He's not stepping and fetching too fast. Here we go. Well, I'll tell you, man, it's been an exciting day. We are an hour and 13 minutes into this race now. And just at this particular point, any big surprises yet?
I don't know about big surprises. Everybody seems to be right where they belong. Hunter Hart's plugging along pretty good. I think he's probably hoping he was a little bit further up in the overall, but you know, we're still halfway through the race. He's still got time.
Well, I was talking to Hunter Hart. He had a rough one there, a rough way to go. I mean, he got through about 3 turns, got the whole shot, got through 3 turns, and his rear shock blew out. And I mean, he just had to fight with that the entire race. So he's coming into this one way behind the 8 ball as far as the championship in the class is concerned. But you know what? I think it might be good for him. I think it might be better for him to be working out of a hole at this point.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely had a rough first round, but he's coming on strong. He knew he can ride good. And there we see Bryson coming through the FMF PowerPoint. That may be one of the biggest surprises. He seems like he came on a little late here in Florida, and that could be due to the fact that he just hasn't been able to be down here in training. But Cole Richardson hanging right in there with him. We know Cole had to take a whole year off last year. I think this race might have been the last race he did last year. There we have Josh Merritt sitting in the pits. I noticed I was looking there on the screen. He wasn't coming in. Looks like something there in the rear end. I don't know if that's a rear shock or.
Man, tough break there for Josh Merritt. You know, what a kid, man. A great personality. Does a lot of social media type stuff, and And actually, I think they told us that we had a chance to catch up with him before the race, and that's unfortunate because we were kind of hoping and expecting big things out of him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he's pushing hard, and it looks like something happened early on in the race because, as you can see, he wasn't turning the lap times he should have been or anything like that. But and it looks like it has finally taken him out of the race for good. But we'll see here shortly.
Well, let's see what he had to say before the race got underway.
Oh, round one came in kind of under the weather. I didn't know where I really stood in the field. Didn't have much time to go south and ride and train like some of the other guys. So I was kind of coming in blind. Just try to put in a good ride. Got a good start. Was running about 3rd place. Dropped about 6th on the 2nd lap and kind of settled in for a second. Got a little too comfortable. Clipped a tree on the rear end, bent an axle, and dropped to 11th overall. But for the conditions that I was riding in, I'm pretty happy and couldn't really be happier to know that I'm top 10 material for sure.
Well, there's Josh Merritt before the race. I think Mikey Waynes might be with him right now during the race. Is that where you're at, Mikey?
Yeah, Rodney, down here with Josh Merritt. Man, bit of a tough break for you. I believe we saw you. You know, I'm gonna not turn my back to oncoming racers. Rodney, I hear you talking about it all the time. I better not do it too. So, Josh, man, tough break. Not exactly how you wanted to end your day here at in Florida.
Oh no, got a halfway decent start, and about a mile in, I felt my back shock was malfunctioning. I think it's the same thing that Hunter Hart went through. Just nothing there.
A tough break, man. Short week back in Georgia. Start over, Al.
Yep, we'll get it back together, and we'll come out strong. At least my hands will be fresh.
There you go. Glass half full. Josh Merritt right there. Tough break, guys.
Gotta love that optimism. That's for, but you know, could you tell there was a big disappointment in his voice right there?
Yeah, I mean, that sucks. It's a long way down here to Florida, and I'm sure that isn't the result he wanted. But like he said, same exact scenario as Hunter last week. He had a good start, got into the woods right away, had an issue. But you know, that's racing. You know, he'll like you said, it's nice that he's looking at the glass half full. His hands are going to be fresh going into Georgia. You know, we only have 1 week until Georgia, and that's it's an issue for a lot of people. You know, you leave here and your hands are destroyed. You got blisters all over them, and you only have about 5 days for them to heal. So it is good that he's looking at it like that.
Now, you know, people say, why would your hands be more blistered here in Florida than anywhere else, Landon Wolf?
Well, number one, it's how rough it is. As you can see, Walker coming through here, the way his bike is bouncing, as you can imagine, he's holding on to those grips just as tight as he can. And you know, after 2 hours of that, those grips start to chew away at your hands, and it could be true that, you know, you get some sand in there, and it's almost like sandpaper.
Now, how do you keep that from happening? Are there ways that you can combat that if you're riding in the sand?
Some people wear blister gloves, like a tight glove underneath their actual riding gloves. Some people put baby powder down there. Some people cover their whole hand in glue. But I tape my hands. Like today, knowing that I'm in Florida, the track's rough, I usually try and tape my hands up. Still got a big old one here on my hand, but it's tough to prevent it. The problem is, you know, everybody's used to riding with just their gloves on. They come here and they don't want to put 2 sets of gloves on. It makes it funny. But here we got Adam McGill coming through the FMF PowerPoint.
Adam's looking hungry right now. He's looking aggressive, looking forward.
Yeah, he's looking good. He looks strong. It looks like he's pushing. Chris Borch is still there, but look at this. Look who is right behind him. Jared McClure is hanging in there. He
Cobra
closed the gap. What was he, 45 seconds?
Yeah,
down,
about 45
like
seconds. Last time around, when they came through the finish line last time, they were at 35 seconds.
Right,
difference.
And before that, it was even bigger, and he is now on their rear bumper. So he is pushing. I don't know if they had an issue, or is he just picking up the pace that good? And if he is picking up the pace that good, if he can get through them, you never know what the sneaky snake could do.
Yeah, that's the neat thing about this, because we were talking about where he was in the early part of this race when Casey Greek was in there a little bit ago. Yeah, you know, don't count him out just yet. And this right here is proof positive. I mean, proof is in the pudding right here. I mean, we're racing toward the white flag right now, and here he is putting himself into position. There's Walker Fowler making his way through.
Yeah, there's that same line again. I mean, you watch every other person come through there. They run down that straightaway. They get in those deep ruts. They hit those couple kickers. Walker's the only guy, I think, jumps out of there, gets over on some smooth trail, runs over a little log, and I mean, it's just smooth sound. It's effortless, and that's why he is still good at the 2-hour mark. I mean, that's why he is a champion. He's a great rider. Here we got Bryson coming through the aftermath PowerPoint. He's you know, he had a pretty big gap there at the beginning, so that's it's going to be tough to close that gap.
Is that Richardson right on?
That's Richardson. Cole Richardson's hanging in there. I mean,
yeah, I
he's
mean,
not letting him go.
He was only about
sure.
3 seconds behind at the end of lap number 2, and doesn't look like he's gotten any further behind there right now. So, man, that's keeping both those guys honest right now. Bryson needs that push, and Cole needs that ride with Bryson right now to keep that confidence up.
Yep. Yeah, and I think that'll be great for Cole. I mean, just a little bit of confidence for him. That'll be awesome. But it looks like we just had Adam, Chris, and Jared come through. They're still nose to tail, pushing hard. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens when they jump out in that big field section. You know, we got, I don't know, maybe 1.5 miles, almost 2 miles of fields here at the end of the race. So,
yeah, and a lot, and what that does, I think that presents a lot of good opportunities for passing. So though Walker Fowler may not be challenged here, I think we're going to get to see a good battle between McGill and Borich, and then if you get a chance to watch back there with Neal and Richardson, you're going to see a good battle there, I think, as well. So I think those folks that are in that area are really in store for something pretty spectacular whenever it comes to the finish line.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to say that if you're wanting to watch a good race here at the end, that would be the place to go, especially for that 2nd, 3rd, 4th position, and then that 5th and 6th position. Here comes Wesley through.
All right, now watching him now, I mean, obviously he's been up in Maryland. He hasn't spent a lot of time. I know he was in Texas for a little bit and stuff like that. But what do you think about his body language? Does he still look like he's still fresh, or does it look like this race is starting to take its toll on him a little bit?
I mean, I think the race is probably taking a toll on everybody at this point. Other than those front runners, they look good.
There it is.
There goes Bryson and Cole. Cole's hanging in there. I mean,
Cole
I
training,
gotta give
baby.
him props. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, whenever you take a year off like that, I mean, he what is it, Crohn's disease? I think that he has some kind of stomach ailment.
Yeah, he's got I believe he has a Crohn's issue, but that was the issue at the beginning. But then he ended up breaking his wrist while he was down training. It's a small bone. A couple racers have had the issue. I believe this is what happened to Cole.
Yeah.
But small bone in there. Broke his wrist, and it took a lot longer than he expected to heal. It's one of those bones. I don't think it gets quite enough blood to it. It takes a long time for it to get healed. So he let it heal properly, and he's back for redemption.
Update. Golly, listen to this right here. 20.3 seconds is what we saw the gap between Walker Fowler and Adam McGill. We were right. They were starting to close up. But at checkpoint, I think they said 3 just a moment ago. Checkpoint 2. 58 seconds between first and the battle for second. Walker Fowler has lit it up here on this lap.
Yeah, and I can only imagine what he's doing. He's going to put the hammer down this lap, roll through, get the white flag, and know that he has a by that time, probably over a 1 minute lead. He's going to put in cruise control, finish up that last lap, and stand up there in the center of the box smiling.
Well, taking a look at the overall top 20 right now, we have XC1 and XC2 all the way dotted through this. It's Fowler, McGill, Borich, McClure, Bryson Neal in 5th, Cole Richardson 6th, 7th, Wesley Wolf, Devin Feehan is 8th, Marty Christopherson in 9th, Tucker Wyatt rounding out the top 10. Then we've got our leader in the XC2 class in 11th overall. Johnny Gallagher is 12th, Matt Lindell 2nd, XC2 is 13th, and there's your leader right there making his way through this big field section. This is the 8.5, I think, right?
Yes, I believe that is.
So as we make our way through here, Walker Fowler nearly 58, almost a minute ahead of the rest of the field out there. Look at all the fans with the clipboard or the boards out there.
I believe that was some of our Puerto Rican ambassadors out there.
I believe you're right.
So I hope, Walker, brother, I hope you can read Spanish.
I'm sure that they have been able to figure out how to right. Well, they are an American country.
Yeah.
I mean, they are a United States what is that, province or something?
Province, yep.
Yeah. So they speak English down there. They write English, and right, and they follow GNCC as well. So 58 seconds over Adam McGill and Chris Borich, and man, it's just a matter of a waiting game at this particular point to see how the battle between the 521 and the number 4 is going to pan out. Is that Borich out there now? As I can't see if that's the case.
I believe it is because there's Adam in front of him.
There's McGill in front of him. There's Borich. Oh, lap traffic. Ooh. Stalled out right in front of him, but McGill was able to get through. Gator Chomp going right on by. And right now, Chris Borich just trying to make up for some lost ground. There is the number 3 of McClure all over the rear grab bar of Chris Borich as we roll toward the white flag. One more lap to go after this one, Mikey. I tell you, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it through this, and the excitement level is starting to really build out here right now. And this is exactly what we'd hoped to see happen. But I'll have to be honest, I was beginning to get a little bit skeptical that we were going to see things tighten up because they were stretching out so much in the early part of the race. But now we see just the opposite. It's going right back to where we want it to be, and racing is starting to get good.
You're absolutely right, Rodney. I think the number 1 top spot, we've got that. That's almost settled. We're almost a lap away from figuring it out, but there's so much left to sort out between McGill, Borich, McClure, and maybe Bryson Neal can get it going here at the end of this one.
Wow, wouldn't that be amazing to see Neal reel those guys in as well? I mean, he was a minute and 12 seconds at one point behind those guys and still running quite a ways back behind. I think he's going to have to start worrying more about what's coming up behind him if he's not careful, in the name of Cole Richardson, who's knocking on the door right now. Still knocking right there. And then Wesley Wolf, they dropped Wesley a little bit, so there's about 30 or 40 seconds back to Wesley. But look at this. Look how tight the 733 is on the number 2 right now.
I thought we were going to see a pass coming around in that first little corner right there. It looked like maybe he was trying to work on the inside, and Neal didn't quite get it. But, boy, in this open field section, there are a lot of lines, a lot of different options for these guys.
Well, I tell you, they seem to be using the main line, but I have to wonder why they aren't trying to jump out of that main line and Walker Fowler and find some of that less rough and more smooth type terrain, grab a little bit of traction and go with it. As they like to say at Monster Energy, unleash that beast, so to speak. This might be part of that monster madness of a mile right there. You never know. And here we are coming into this wet section again. Again, a very deceiving section, and I think it's what could be funny with this is one more lap, depending on what's going on there, it could see some nasty, gnarly stuff that starts pitching these guys a little further out into the drink out there.
It's very true, and you see there was a good shot right there of Walker Fowler working through this section and trying to work around some of these different lappers, as well as these mud holes. I mean, you name it there. He's having to deal with it right now. And like we were talking early in the race, does that open up an opportunity for one of these guys, McGill, Borich, to kind of chip away at that lead a little bit? Anything is possible with just a little more than a lap left.
Well, as we watch these guys roll, we're rolling through a big week here at Daytona's Bike Week, kicking it off today with ATV, GNCC will be two-wheeled GNCC tomorrow. On Monday, we'll be heading over to Daytona International Speedway for the Ricky Carmichael Amateur Supercross. And on Tuesday, the AMA ATV Motocross Stars will be heading out. Chad Weenan will be one of those joining that. He's a 5-time champion. He's also the defending ATV Supercross champion from last year. And welcoming Chad Weenan to the broadcast. Chad, welcome, buddy.
Hey, thank you, Rodney. Yeah, excited to be here. I've been working with, riding with Borich and Gallagher all winter long, and close races in the backyard. Got to come up here and check it out and cheer these guys on.
So what are you thinking so far, what you're seeing?
Man, Chris is putting in a good charge. He's kind of hanging out behind McGill and Fowler, and they were putting on a really good charge, starting to catch Fowler a little bit, and it looked like Fowler turned it back up and got a pretty good lead now. And Johnny, I think he's inside the top 10 right now, and Johnny likes to hang out. Johnny likes to let everybody go and then try to catch up in the start. So hopefully he'll be getting back in it.
Walker Fowler making his way through the pro pits right there as we roll into this one. Now, Chad, you've been training yourself. By the way, congratulations. I understand that are you going to be a daddy? I read that right?
Yeah, thank you. July 13th due date, so we're pretty excited about it, and we got some work to do up until then, and Danica's doing really well, and we're excited for the new chapter coming up.
That's awesome, man. Speaking of new chapters, we begin the 2018 season on Tuesday, man. You look more than ready for it this year.
Yeah, I mean, I changed up a lot of things this year. You get used to doing the same things, for the past, 5 years. It's been working really well, and, just change some things and, get back to the drawing board and get back to work and try to get this championship back in the Yamaha stables this year.
All right, man. Sounds good. Anything you want to pass along to the RacerTV fans? Invite them to join you or anything on Tuesdays?
Excited to enjoy the rest of the racing here, and we got some great weather. Hopefully, we get some good weather on Tuesday, and I'll see you on Tuesday as well. And I'm hoping that the GNCC Racing Nation will see me come back and do some races. Probably not going to happen this year, but definitely in the future, I'm going to come out.
There's a lot of you guys. I mean, look at the Mickelson boys. They're doing it. Grayson Eller's doing it. With Jeremy Ledon's out there. I mean, they're all doing well today, too.
Yeah. I mean, I also want to challenge the GNCC guys come out and race with us in moto.
There you go. There you go. I want to see that as well.
Yeah.
Chad, thank you, buddy. Good luck on Tuesday, man. Looking forward to seeing the 2018 season kickoff for ATV Motocross. And Chad is a 5-time champion. Lost it in a squeaker last year to Joel Hetrick, which is teammates to the Mickelson brothers we've seen this morning in 4x4A. Noah's in the College A and was running second behind Jeremy Ledon there a few moments ago, and Grayson Eller, who's leading the College B. Let's check in with that again, see how that's starting to pan out as we wait and watch with bated breath here now. College A class real quick. I think we're still in the same department. Actually, they haven't checked back in since the last time we looked at them, so we'll give them a little bit longer before we go back into that. So let's go. There's your second place ride making his way by. That gap still at about the 1 minute, 12, 15 second range there that we saw when those riders checked in at the finish line a few moments ago. And what about Chris Borch? Chris Borch is trying to keep things as steady and honest as he possibly can as well on behind the 5-2-1 machine. And also Jared McClure. So 2, 3, and 4 are very tightly knit right now as they make, I believe that was them was that them that just went through the pro pits, or they went through just a moment ago? Whichever the case is, man, I tell you, we got some intense stuff going on right now. 741, Wesley Wolf in the mix and thick of some stuff out there. And joining us back in the booth now is, of course, our own Landon Wolf, LW. You were watching what was going on over there on Pro. That was intense, dude. What was going on out there?
Did you see the Cole Richardson, Bryson Neal thing right there?
That's who that was. What happened? It went around the corner.
They came around the corner there, and a lapper was trying to pull over. Bryson kind of pulled in behind him. Cole snuck up on the inside and went around him. So
oh, wow. That's what that madness is about.
Yep, Cole's into the number 5 spot now.
We should see him anytime then, or if we haven't already, coming out onto the monitor right here. I was like, what is that going on over there?
And we got Adam, Chris, and Jared going at it hard. They're all taking different lines out here in the mud holes. They're all wanting that number 2 spot.
That seems to be what everybody's racing for right now, the number 2 spot behind Walker Fowler. And right now, my friends, we are rolling. And rolling Cole, so to speak, is what Cole Richardson's doing as he moves into the number 5 spot. This should be really intensify that battle between he and Bryson, because I know Bryson's not going to want to let that slide so easily.
Yeah, and I just told, there goes Wesley through pro row. I just told somebody we're going on to the 4th lap here. This race is definitely going to run a little long. We're definitely going over 2 hours. Bryson does not have water, which is tough. I mean, I don't know if his crew's giving him a bottle or something, but his Camelback hose is hanging at his waist, so I'm sure he's not bringing that up. I'm sure it's covered in mud.
Walker Fowler is there. White flag is about ready to come out for the number 1 and 3-time GNCC champion. There you see some steam coming up. That guy said the heck with it and just started plugging water holes, it looks like. And you get into a situation like this, there's not a whole lot that you're going to be able to do. Those are the holes that are about 15. That one was about 50, but it was only 4 inches through most of them.
I tell you what's going to be exciting. Even this lap, I mean, these guys are going to be coming through here nose to tail, but I'd imagine this is still going to be going on next lap. We got that big field section. We got 2 mud holes over here behind the pits, and then we have this directly in front of the finish line. This should be chaos. Here they come now. Looks like Adams is still in second, but look at Jared.
Wow.
McClure has made a pass on Borch, but Borch ain't giving up. He's still right there. This is going to be a good last lap battle right here. This is going to be a good one to watch, that's for sure.
What did Chris look like? He just threw something. Did he just pitch goggles or a bottle of water or what there?
Oh, I'm not sure. I didn't quite see that one.
Looked like maybe he was ripping a tear off there. I don't know, but it looked like he threw something there. So leaders check in. Walker Fowler was a little bit slower that time, a 31.04. McClure checking in at a 31.06, and Adam McGill in a 31.40. Chris Borch a 31.44. Wow, those guys. Now, what would slow? I mean, everybody slowed down, it seems like, except for Jared McClure. I think he might have sped up a little bit.
Jared McClure, he is something else. I mean, right now, he's the guy to keep an eye on. I mean, we kind of called that at the beginning. We said Jared McClure was out by himself. It's tough to ride by yourself like that and make up time while you're riding by yourself.
He's one of the few that can make it happen.
He made it happen in a big way. I mean, he was, I would say at one point, he was probably 50 seconds behind those guys. He's now closed the gap and moved in. Now, the only thing to think about is, have Adam and Chris been going back and forth too much and wasting time? And is that why Jared came up? But we're not sure. But another thing to look at is, Jared ran, 3 seconds slower than Walker that lap, so he's obviously on the gas.
Obviously, and he's just gotten faster and faster. Now, what would account for these lap times getting longer? Would it be the lap traffic out there, course conditions?
A little bit of lap traffic. Most of it's probably course conditions. I mean,
it's getting that rough.
It's probably getting rough, and you can see even sometimes they're struggling to keep the tires on the ground to keep a forward momentum. But here we have Bryson has moved back into the number 5 spot, I guess that would be.
Yep.
So he slid back by Cole somewhere. Wow,
they're
good racing.
A minute and 39 seconds. Behind fourth place Chris Borch is Bryson Neal. Cole Richardson only 2.1 seconds behind Bryson, so that's a good one. We were looking at 40 seconds a lap ago back to the sophomore and Wesley Wolf, the 7:41 and 7. I'm not sure where he's at right now. Devin Behan was a minute and 1 second behind him. All right, folks, that's Walker Fowler, Adam McGill, Jared McClure, Chris Borch, and Bryson Neal. We'll be back right after this.
What is your passion? Hitting the perfect line, finding the perfect trail, routing the perfect adventure, or just living and breathing the moto life? Do you feel pride for a job well done after tackling a late night in the shop? Do you enjoy time spent with friends and family in the great outdoors? Spanning over 3 decades, one name has taken the lead for supplying the best powersport parts, accessories, and apparel to fuel your passion. One name that knows it goes beyond getting you the best prices, quickest shipping, or largest selection. One name that builds and innovates for our industry. One name that teaches, helps, and supports our fellow riders, racers, and organizations. We are Rocky Mountain ATV MC. We have transformed a team of moto enthusiasts into a powerful teaching team to ensure that you make the best purchasing decision with your hard-earned cash. We build communities with fellow riders to provide you with all you need to make a good decision. See customer photos, reviews, Q&As, and more while you're on our easy-to-use website. Need help fast? Live chat with our specialists, email, or drop us a line. Visit us today and experience the best in OEM and aftermarket parts, accessories, apparel, and industry-leading information. We offer lightning quick shipping, free on orders over $75, a huge inventory, free apparel exchanges both ways, and customer service that leaves all others behind. Experience one name that leads all others. Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Get ready.
I'm a sore loser.
I'm a sore loser. Losing is not an option for me.
Be the best.
The best? The best.
You have to have the best equipment under the hood.
That's why
I only use
Cometic products in my engines.
Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket.
Cometic gasket, a superior quality gasket
For those of us who demand the highest level of performance.
We handle your races, your jumps, and your trails. Isn't it time you give your daily driver the same love? AMSOIL's Signature Series synthetic motor oil delivers 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by a leading industry standard. AMSOIL also offers a full family of ATV, UTV lubricants, giving you above and beyond fortification for your weekday and weekend vehicles. AMSOIL, devoted to protection.
And welcome back to GNCC Live. Rodney Tom along with Landon Wolf and our own Mikey Waynes as we come to you from Palatka, Florida for this Moose Racing Wildboar GNCC, round 2 of the AMSOIL GNCC series. It's Bike Week, my friends, and we are in the closing moments of this second round of racing for the ATV riders. Walker Fowler basically has led this one from start to now, and he has been as far as a minute plus ahead. He's been down to 20 seconds ahead right now, looking at about 57.5-second lead over Adam McGill, Jared McClure, and Chris Borch. Jared McClure hanging out back there in that fourth place position for quite a bit. Big gap, but he was able to make up a lot of time that last lap around, only turning about 3 seconds slower lap time than your leader, Walker Fowler. In doing so, he caught up to Chris Borch and Adam McGill. He's up to a third place position and got that final podium position, but Chris Borch is still there, and here we are rolling through the final lap.
They call him the Sneaky Snake for a reason. I mean, we literally called this at the beginning of the race. He was a good bit back. He had a big gap in between him and in that second and third position, but he made it up. He's now moved into the number 3 spot, but we have Adam, who's been training down here all winter. He knows his stuff. We got Jared, the Sneaky Snake. He's always looking to strike. And then we got 6-time champion Chris Borch. And the one thing that I take note to the most is we have about 2 miles of a field section close to the finish. And Borch is known for his field section technique. I mean, he can ride fields like nobody else, like nobody's business. And I know he's coming out into that field section, hot on their heels, looking to strike.
Yeah, here's an interesting thing. You got Chris Borch back in the number 4 spot, and he's close enough, if you look at it, only about 3 seconds from Adam McGill in second place position and Jared McClure in between them right now. It's not inconceivable to think that he would pass both those guys in that section and steal the second place position away. Now, how monumental would that be? It wouldn't be a win for Chris Borch, but what kind of confidence booster would that be for him at that point?
That would be huge, and honestly, I mean, like I say, with the fields out here, I wouldn't put it past him. I mean, he's capable of doing it in these field sections. That Suzuki handles like a champ out there, so I'm sure he's looking forward to getting out there on this last lap.
Well, that was Fowler going through the FMF PowerPoint right there. His final time through that section anyway. We expect to see checkers flying in this race in about 22 minutes, so we still got plenty of racetrack and racing to go. Can't quite give it to Walker Fowler just yet because we know how the story goes, man. Anything can happen, and at these Florida sand races, it's like Murphy's Law takes over sometimes, man.
You really never know in this Florida sand. I mean, something could happen in the very last corner, and like I said earlier, another thing to note is we are going to be going a good bit over 2 hours. Look at this. Here we got Jared McClure into the number 2 spot.
Wow.
He's come from way back in fourth place, and he's now caught them, passed them, and trying to put some time on them. That is a quite impressive ride.
Wow, there's Borch up to 3rd now on the number 4 machine.
No.
That wasn't him?
No, Adam was still in 3rd.
Wasn't the yellow machine right behind him?
Yeah, that was Adam that came through though before him.
Oh, I thought that. Okay, it looked like.
Adam's still in the number 3 spot.
I'm colorblind, man.
Oh, okay. Well, that's an issue.
Well, I must be right now. It looked yellow to me. But anyway, regardless, they're shadowing each other at this particular point. And he is well within striking distance. But the thing about it is, now that Jared McClure's gotten around Adam, here we're back to that same battle between Adam and Chris, and they may just be stuck in that funk right now.
They may be, but I'm sure Chris is looking at Jared, watching him push hard. You know, he came from a long way back, has gotten through him, and he's probably watching him push hard, trying to get away from him, and he's probably looking for lines, looking for a field section to see if he can make a move on Adam to stick with Jared and maybe make something happen there at the end. But I tell you what, this is some of the best racing of the weekend right here, that's for sure.
Well, there's Ricky Tower waiting patiently with white flag in hand, ready to turn that white to a checker, but it's going to be another 20 minutes or so before he'll be ready to do that as riders make their way in. Let's go ahead and check in with some of these other classes that had such intense battles going on, Landon. Let's check a little further back in the XC1 Pro classes. We know we've been talking about Fowler, McGill, McClure, Borich, and Neal, your top 5. Richardson in 6th, Wesley Wolf in 7th, Devin Feehan still in 8th at last check. 9th place, Marty Christopherson and Tucker Wyatt rounding out the top 10. As we look to next, the Senior B class, Ed King, the 406 out of Waynesburg, PA, leading that. Peter Dandry of the 292 out of Uniontown, PA, in 2nd. 268, Jacob Phillips out of Monterey, Tennessee, in 3rd. In 4th place, 936, Scott Yadis out of Chalfont, Pennsylvania. Your 5th place is Brian Locke from Harpers Ferry, West Virginia, number 711. Looking next at XC2 Pro-Am. Hunter Hart leading 1 minute and 7 seconds over Matt Lindell. John Glotta 1 minute and 30 seconds over is behind Matt Lindell. Now, something I want to point out here. Remember, Hunter Hart and Matt Lindell were pretty tight at the early part of this race. We see now that they have stretched out after 2 laps anyway, and they had 1 minute and 30 take that back. Lindell had 1 minute and 30-second lead over John Glotta, so that goes to show that, man, Hunter's really wicking it up out here in this second round. He's got a little bit of redemption, I think, after those mechanical issues last time.
Yeah, I figured Hunter Hart would be strong here today. You know, he spent all his winter down here, and he's a hard worker. He did a lot of training down here. I know he did a lot of cycling, which is obviously cardio, worked on his cardio, and he's clearly showing it here today. He certainly wasn't happy to come out to round 1 after all that work and have the breakdown that he did. So I'm sure he's coming here for redemption, and that's exactly what he's getting. And I don't even know that he's necessarily picking up the pace. He just isn't getting any slower. I mean, he is just.
Lindell actually on lap 2 turned about a 20-second faster lap than Hunter Hart did on lap 3, so they're starting to slow down. Actually, I don't see Lindell has checked in for, there he has. Lindell is now 1 minute and 2 seconds. So he gained 5 seconds, it looks like. But we still haven't seen John Glotta check in. So 34-34 for Hunter Hart, 34-29 for Matt Lindell. So something happened out there on lap 1, 2 in that neighborhood that separated those guys, and they're running pretty steady paces. Looking at Glotta for 3rd, Austin Abney in 4th, and Kenny Schick to round out the top 5 in that Pro-Am. College A class, Noah Mickelson still out front of this one now after 2, at least after 2. These guys are doing in about 4 minutes for their next lap complete. 7.3 seconds separating those guys. Ronnie Rush, 7:14 in 2nd. Bodie Lamoureux in 3rd. Seth Wilson in 4th. McCain Jennings rounding out the top 5. I'm very interested in this race because the talent that we have up front in Ronnie Rush and the experience in off-road racing and speed with Ronnie Rush, and then the speed of ATV motocross star Noah Mickelson. It's kind of neat to see these guys going at it. Does Noah have the stamina for 2+ hours out there? That's going to be a big question too, I think.
Yeah, I would say that's going to be the toughest thing that he may struggle with, and who knows, he may not struggle at all. It may have been working hard, but that's the biggest difference.
He's been training all winter, though.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that's the biggest difference between the motocross series and the GNCC series. It's you know, the motocross maybe races for 20-25 minutes, if that even. These guys are out there, probably the roughest track of the year here today, and we're going to be running, I would say, 2 hours and 15 minutes for the leader, which means College A and those guys are going to be, you know, running for a long time.
Well, Ben Danner We got, is that our leader right there?
Yep, that's Walker.
WFR, there it is. Walker Fowler Racing through the PowerPoint there. It's a 6-mile marker as we look at Junior A 22 plus. We got Ben Danner leading James Mauger there. Levi Cohen has dropped from second to third now, so he lost about 30 seconds. Josh Haney, the 408, is fourth. Zach Wright out of Granite Falls, North Carolina, rounds out the top 5. That A class, Big Papa B, Jeff Pickens out front in that one. 4-minute and 3-second lead over Nick Camilli, I should say. Camilli out of Concord, North Carolina. And Terrebonne, California, home to David Peach, the 559. He is third place. And Brian Halsey leading the senior 840 plus class with John South of the 410 in second. Richard Taylor 311 in third. Roberto Rivera from Puerto Rico in fourth. And Justin Kerr rounding out the top 5 there in the senior A class. Again, a lot of Puerto Ricans with us this weekend. College B class, there's the 2 moto stars, Jeremy Ladon and Grayson Eller going at it. About a 2-minute and 10-second lead separating them. But Eller has a 2-minute and 34-second lead over third place going into this one. So, wow, these guys are really tearing it up. Welcoming back Carter Kearns from Fairmont, West Virginia. He was back 7th place at the end of the first lap. The 3:55 has moved up into a 4th place position. And looking at lap times, he's looking to hang steady there right now. He's kind of missed the last couple of years on and off. A race or two is all we've ever seen him. But he comes to this new season a slim, trim, fit young man as well. And he looks like he's ready to do some damage in 2018. Chase Allison rounding out the top 5 there in that College B class out of McClellantown, Pennsylvania. Junior B class, Dustin Ulrich out of Trevorton, PA, the 5:14, 1 minute and 25 seconds leading there. And there's Walker Fowler making his way through this wood section. Cody Holcomb in 3rd, Blaze Taylor in 4th, the Junior B class. And 5th place, Nathaniel Tickle. Another hot line by Walker Fowler right there, Landon Wolf. He, man, I tell you, he did I think he did that exact same thing the last lap.
Yeah, I mean, it seems every lap, and I don't. The funny thing is, I'm not positive on this, but look at this. Look, here's the bottom of that dropping out. But
oh, this is where the problems start.
The funny thing is, Walker, to my knowledge, does not bike the track on Friday or Saturday morning. So he is doing this. He's just good. He's got an eye for lines. I mean, works out. Look at this. This guy is just sitting there, wheels spinning, nothing, no movement, but plugging away. And here we got somebody trying to get around him. This line is going to be an issue for the rest of this race, I'm sure. As you can see, these guys are buried. The funny thing is, it is dry down here. Here comes the battle for second place. Jared McClure still hanging on to that number 2 spot, but he has not been able to put a gap on these guys. We still got Adam hot on his heels, and the screen froze there, so I don't know.
I'd say Chris is still there.
I would say Chris
he hasn't
still
let
there.
up any whatsoever, and if it's tradition for Chris, he's trying to position himself for the old board. He's trying to pull that one back out of the old pocket. He might have left that one in the billfold too long.
Yep.
Though, you know
Gosh, here comes Marty Christopherson trying to get around these stuck riders, but he's having the same issue that they are.
Christopherson back
I'm sure this is so frustrating for him, but he is back moving, so back on the road. It's a tough section. The leaders don't have to come through here again, so they're not going to have the issue. But the rest of the race, though, I mean, this is, as you can see, this ain't easy to get through it. Even these pro riders are getting hung up in it. So,
wow,
this guy, he looks like he's a little tired.
Man,
this Florida sand's wore him out.
Yeah, insult to injury. Florida sand wearing you out. And then you got to deal with mud, man. I mean, that's a double decker right there.
These guys can't catch a break, I tell you. But it seems like a good track. I mean, everybody seems good. One person that does not seem more out is Walker Fowler.
Yeah, no, not at all. He seems to be. He's trying to race. He wants a little head start to get over to the starting line for the start of the UTV race, which he finished third in. Something I want to point out. You know, you were talking about conditions being a little bit dry there. Look, once they've gotten down into that sand and blown the top of it off, there's not been any of the dust out there this afternoon.
That is a good point you make there. I mean, this was dusty at the beginning of the race. This was white, dusty sand.
And we haven't had any rain. That's just the moisture in the ground that's coming up.
Yeah, we haven't had, I believe I talked to Caleb Russell the other day. I believe he said no rain in like 3 or 4 weeks now.
Wow.
So obviously the ground's got some water in it, and they're digging down to it.
Well, we're digging it ourselves right now as we are about 10 minutes, 11 and a half minutes according to timing and scoring before the checkers should be coming out for Walker Fowler as he has his head down and charging hard right now with that minute-plus lead over the battle for second place with McClure, McGill, and Chris Borich. And about another now, almost probably pushing close to 2 minutes back behind him is Bryson Neal, Cole Richardson. That battle last check was still intensified. You know, you would think those two were racing for the #1 spot, and that's a good way to keep racing out there.
Yeah, I mean, that could keep it interesting for everybody. And like I say, maybe, I don't think it's going to happen today, but one of these days, those 3 guys or those 4 guys or however many it is, they may work together to be able to crack into Walker Fowler, but they are going to have to do some work to get that. I mean, Walker Fowler is on rails.
Well, you know, I wanted to update you on that College A battle. They have come in for their 3rd lap complete. Little Ronnie Rush is back out front of Noah Mickelson. There was only a couple of seconds, 1 minute and 12 seconds now. What's going on? Look at Walker Fowler rolling through that sand again.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. I mean, he does it. It's crazy, but he doesn't even look like he's trying. But he clearly is. But yeah, just smooth as butter, and I think that's the name of the game for him. And as you can see, he's coming by lappers, and they're probably waving to him. Thanks for lapping me. I got one last lap to do now. Get that checkered flag rolling, so I can.
At this point, they're looking for that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure everybody is. Everybody out there on that track. You know, like you say, Walker's probably ready to wrap it up as well.
He's, like I said, getting ready. And don't you forget either, stick around. We'll be back with UTV racing coming up a little after 4 this afternoon, after we wrap things up here on the ATV side of things. And then don't forget, we'll be back tomorrow at 1 o'clock for 2-wheel action. Then we'll be back again on Monday with RCSX. And there, we're watching a battle right here, right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is one heck of a battle. It does look like they may have lost Borich. I'm not sure. The bad thing is, I'm not so sure I saw him come through the camera shot at all.
Right.
But here we go. Look at here we got Adam coming around the outside, trying to duck under trees, sucker back into the track. This is good racing here. This is what they're looking for. The funny thing is, they're on very similar setups. Both of those bikes are, you know, running a lot of the same stuff. Obviously, the same bikes. It looks like Adam's wanting it.
And he's trying to go inside there. He is trying to cut that track and that line a little bit shorter. He's using alternate lines, and that's what you got to do to make those passes out there. But I tell you, to watch that Jared McClure right now, that #3 machine, he is on a mission. He is on rails, and he basically picked up right where he left off whenever the checker flag flew in Indiana last year.
Yeah, I mean, what a race this has been. Jared McClure has I believe he's been the impressor here. He's come from a long way back. Obviously, had to use a good bit more energy to get up with those guys, but Adam is not letting him go. Adam is hanging in there. Adam wants it back. One thing I've noticed here, Chris did not come through, unless I missed him, but I've been paying attention to it pretty close. There he is right there.
Wow.
One hand off the bars, so it looks like the bike is working fine. Looks like he's fine. Maybe he clipped a tree, got hung up a little bit. He's dropped back.
A lot of high side, and remember, we've seen a lot of those riders out there, so lap traffic could certainly be a big issue in this one because, like Marty Christopherson, he got stopped, and I'm sure that's not the only section of the racetrack that's happening in right now.
No, I'm sure there's a lot of sections like that, and who knows? I mean, Chris could have been trying to make a pass. Chris could have been trying to stay out of the dust or something like that, but. You know, it looks like he must have made a mistake and dropped back a good bit. The good thing is they've been riding hard all week or all day. They had a pretty good cushion on what would it be 5th and 6th place. Still got plenty of room. He knows he's not going to catch 2nd and 3rd. He's going to put it in cruise control and ride her on into the finish line.
So right now it is Walker Fowler about 7 minutes out from the checker flag. We wait with bated breath, and man, this is going to be exciting. And like we said, we was talking there a moment ago, we got lots of bike week action for you coming up. It is today, tomorrow, Monday, and Tuesday. Basically, I think we'll start around 10 o'clock on Monday and Tuesday for 10, 11 o'clock in that neighborhood. Just watch Facebook and RacerTV.com and follow our social media to find out more. But if you're a bike week fan, couldn't ask for a better week than this right here. We've got great weather, at least right now. What's going on? Here comes Walker Fowler. He's just like, go that way, and then Walker does exactly something totally different.
A little fist pump for the fans. Thanks for the line. Thanks for the no water. I'm gonna ride her on in here to the finish. I'm sure he's feeling good right now. From the track from here on out is pretty smooth, pretty simple, fast section. So I'm sure he's ready to cruise her on in. But yeah, like you were saying, you know, we got a lot of racing here in the next week. Not only racing, a lot of activities down here in Florida, and eventually moving up to Georgia next weekend. You know, we got ATV GNCC today, Supercross tonight, dirt bike GNCC tomorrow, amateur Supercross at Daytona Monday, ATV Supercross Tuesday, and then eventually we're going to work our way up to...
They'll have a flat track. Well, they'll have flat track at Daytona, Daytona 200. We will be moving north to Georgia, like you said. Back to Aonia Pass, the old general.
Yeah, and I'm actually excited to go back there. You know, we went to a new place for a little bit, but I'm ready to go back. Here we got Jared McClure still hanging in there, and like I say, he hasn't been able to lose Adam, which is probably making him nervous a little bit. You know, you get out to these water holes, and all the main lines run the edge of the water holes. All the main lines try and keep the riders as dry as possible. But when it comes down to this situation, last lap, last couple miles of racing,
no holds barred at that point.
Yeah, they'll skim the top of them if they have to. I mean, it doesn't matter if they're soaking wet. But, you know, whatever it takes to gain that one more position. So I'm excited to see them come into the finish line, see how it works out.
Less than 5 minutes to go in this battle. We'll probably be looking at about a 2-hour and 5-minute race. We were estimating possibly 2:15 at one point, but I think we kind of picked up the pace a little bit on that one. But still 2:05. A lot of times it's 1:55, 1:50. And here we go, Walker Fowler down the pro pits right now. So we see him going by here. So it looks so nonchalant, man, just grabbing a drink.
Yeah, he's in cruise mode now. You know, he's just cruising into the finish. There we got Austin Abney heading our last round one winner, hanging in there tough. I believe he's running 3rd or 4th place. But one thing to point out, I mean, you got to figure Walker's probably going to finish at maybe 2:05, 2:10. The guy that crosses the finish line in front of Walker, when Walker takes the checkered flag, he's got to do a whole nother lap out there in that sand, in those whoops, and it's going to take him another 40 minutes, 35, 40 minutes. So he's going to be out there a long time. So I'm sure those guys are they're feeling it right now. I mean, granted they started later than the pro class, but that's a lot of action.
They had a lot of time being amped up, man. Going through all those starts.
Here we got them coming through the pro row. Adam McGill back into 2nd place. Jared McClure still hanging in there, but I don't know. I guess we missed it on the screen or somewhere there was a pass made, but Jared don't have much time to get that one back, so he better be pushing.
Alrighty, so here we go.
There they go.
We got that minute gap, and we got McGill back into 2nd, McClure in 3rd, and Chris Borich still way back there now in the 4th place position. We estimated, what, a minute plus, I guess, at one point, wasn't it?
Yeah, I would say so. He's got a pretty big gap now, but
so basically, it's come down to this: Walker Fowler, Adam McGill, and Jared McClure, and it's come down to this: who's going to get 2nd? I think we pretty much got it figured out who's going to take the win. Now, granted, you can't, you know, anything can happen. But if nothing changes, we got a winner.
Riding her through the finish line.
He is, and there's nothing going to stop him. Adam McGill and Jared McClure, that's where all eyes are going to be.
Yeah, the action is definitely on these guys. Here they come into the final field section. Adam McGill has actually opened up a little bit of a lead, so I don't know if something happened to Jared or what's going on. Looks like he's still pushing hard, so it looks like the bike and him are fine. But
it could be a matter of a mistake, lapped rider ahead of him.
It could be anything.
Fatigue.
It could be anything.
Could fatigue. I don't want to say that McClure is fatiguing because he seems to get stronger as the race wears on, but this is sands of Florida. It's got to be taking a little bit of toll, even on the snake, man.
Absolutely. Like you say, Florida whoops, they're not easy for anybody. It doesn't matter who you are. So I'm sure he's not giving up yet, though. He's got a good bit of woods, and actually the last couple miles of woods here, just after this field section, they run down along the pits through a bunch of pine sections and also through some pretty big mud sections, like I say, with those water holes. So there's still a lot of opportunity for passing. I mean, my race this morning came down to that last mile. I mean, there's lines everywhere there at the end, which is great for the spectators, for the racers, for everything. So I'm super pumped to see these guys come through the finish line area. I think it's going to be a barn burner.
Barn burner. Somebody's playing with matches. Call the fire department. Here we go. It's coming down to the finish right now. Fowler again leading this one between McGill and McClure, and it's a two-man shootout. McGill, the Gator, seems to have taken the chomp out of McClure that just for a few moments, but again, we got a lot of racetrack to go before the end of this one. Well, not a whole lot by comparison, but a lot of things can happen in this little bit of time left. There's Borch making his way through this final field section here. We're less than a minute expecting Walker Fowler in the finish line chicanes, and we'll watch him take home another historic win here in Florida. This will be his 4th consecutive win here in the sands of Florida at this particular racetrack.
Yeah, I saw Chris coming through the field section there. I don't know. I'm anxious to hear what happened to him. It sure is a disappointment to see that, because, you know, he was right there. And like I say, when they got out in these field sections, that would have been a good race to watch. But obviously, he's kind of just cruising. I saw him looking around. So this last lap, it's definitely going to be slow. Bryson actually will end up probably not too far behind him. But here we got Walker Fowler coming into the finish line through this mud section.
Walker Fowler making his way into this final Amsoil Wood section and to the Amsoil chicanes to take that checker flag and second win of 2018 here as he makes his bid for championship number 4 in the sands of Florida to kick it all off. And the fist pump to the air, and Walker Fowler wins the Wildboar GNCC. That's 4 in a row Wildboar GNCCs for that young man right there.
4 in a row here, and we need to figure out how many races he's now won in a row. I know it's been like since last May, he's won every race.
9, I believe, right?
I think we said 8 last race, but who knows if we were
I think
right.
that would make 9, because I think he'd had a 7-win streak whenever we came to the end of the
season. Here we go. Here comes Adam McGill into the finish line. It looks like Jared's not going to be able to grab him. Adam's pushing hard through the mud.
Chomp, chomp.
He's got a little bit of a gap. Jared's going to settle in for the number 3 spot, but here they come across the finish line.
So there it is. Adam McGill, the Gator, takes second here in the sands of Florida. And Adam McGill, I believe, will take the 3rd place position. If you're looking at timing and scoring, I think that's a little bit confusing. I believe that maybe Adam's transponder might have malfunctioned there at one point, but regardless.
Yeah, looks like Adam did not scan, but he did, in fact, come through in the 2nd place position.
Yeah, just ahead of McClure, who it says is 48 seconds. So they were actually gain a little bit on Walker. Walker obviously in celebration mode there, probably the last half a lap or so. And right now, you know, the big question, Borch, Bryce, well, Borch we expect to see coming in. What about Neil and Cole Richardson? That battle right there was one that...
Yeah, I saw Neil come through the finish line here not long ago. He did have he opened up a gap on Cole. Like we said earlier, I mean, Cole took a whole year off, coming to the roughest race here at the beginning of the year. I mean, it's not easy.
He held well. You think about it, I mean, any of these guys that aren't as well conditioned to be able to hold past the hour-and-a-half mark, into the hour and 45-minute mark like that, that's pretty impressive
It's
stuff.
very impressive. I mean, you probably wouldn't believe, if you went out and walked this track right now, you probably wouldn't believe how rough it is and how fast these guys are going through it for over 2 hours straight. I mean, it's downright impressive.
Well, I about wore myself out riding from the camper to the TV trailer this morning, and it's just a flat piece of ground. I can't imagine what these guys are feeling like.
You can only imagine, But
hey, folks, want to remind you, if you see those signs that says woods closed, we close the woods for the UTV races. Between 4 and 6, the woods are going to be closing, and that is so we can hold the UTV race. And you guys on RacerTV.com, be sure and stick around. We'll be coming back here shortly. To do that, we're going to stop in and talk with our top finishers here in just a few moments with Mikey Waynes down at the finish line. There's Chris Borch making his way through now, L-Dub, and you know, it's a respectable day. There's no doubt about it.
It is. And, honestly, I'm sure he's going to be upset with himself. Whatever went wrong, it's not what he wanted, but Chris needs to be happy with what he got and move on.
All right, he looks like Mikey Waynes is ready for us as he's standing by with our Wildboar winner and Big Buck winner, Mr. Walker Fowler.
Check. All right, thanks, guys. Down here with Walker Fowler, man, 2 for 2 in 2018. What else can I say, man? Wow.
Yeah, I'm saying wow, too. I thought it was going to be a good day to get a good start, and obviously it's always good to get a good start, but we dug down so deep in the sand that we actually hit moisture everywhere on the track, so you know, dust was not an issue. Felt good that first lap. I never got arm pumped. Those other guys, they were right on me, and then as soon as there was a gap, I knew that you know, a little bobble or you know, something. So I just said, let's go, let's do this thing, and you know, put a pretty good gap on them. Lap 2, I kind of paced myself, and I think I paced myself too much. Chris Borch got within about 10 seconds of me, and I was a little nervous, not gonna lie to you. So I started really picking up the pace, and man, around the 3-mile marker, I hit something in the weeds, and I bent the front end of this thing all up. Thank gosh for the good components and the great machine that we have, because I think the frame's bent. I think there's a lot of bad things that it's doing, but we didn't break anything. And when I came off of it, my tether cord broke and stayed on the bike, so I didn't have to worry about putting it back on because I was trying to figure out what happened. Part of my helmet broke. I mean, it was a pretty good crash. But I rolled out of it, got right back on the quad, and just said, play roadblock at this point. If it's bent up, just try to hold the line if those guys catch you. And someone caught me. I have no idea who it was, and something happened. Something happened with them, and you know, we just kept moving forward, and that's what you got to do. And 2 for 2.
2 for 2, my friend. 11 more to go, right?
11 more to go. One at a time, that's for sure. You know, we're just trying to put this WFR GBC Fly Racing FMF Yamaha up front. You know, like I said, these Lone Star components, Fox shocks, Hinson. This whole bike is just an incredible machine. So you know, VP Racing fuels, Gold Speed wheels, webcams, Alpine Stars. I know they're here today. Precision stabilizer. This is one of those races where if my friend is this bent up, you'd have broke something. So George, thank you so much. It saved my life today. I don't know. I'm just excited. We got Comedic gaskets on board, Fuel Customs, man. ODI, DP brakes, Scott goggles. Like I said, the guys from Flyer here, Chris Harris. Thank you guys so much. Maximo Oils, Moto Experts. Man, there's a long list. I know we got limited time, but thank you guys so much.
There you go. Your overall winner in the XC1, Walker Fowler.
Well, there you go, Walker Fowler. Congratulations to you, my friend, on another win, and a well-deserved win at that, as you had your work cut out for you here in the sands of Florida. Again, Adam McGill checking in, some 45, just about 46 seconds behind Walker Fowler. Jared McClure only 2.8 seconds behind him in the number 3 position. Chris Borch ended up 2 minutes behind. 2 minutes and 7 seconds behind that battle for second place. There's something big time happening to the number 4. And Bryson Neal checking in, only 34 seconds behind him in 5th. Cole Richardson right behind him in the number 6 spot. Still looking for Wesley Wolf, Devin Feehan, Marty Christopherson, and Tucker Wyatt to round out your top 10. And folks, don't forget, we're going to be heading up to the UTV Racing. Those of you on RacerTV, be sure to come back and join us, if you will, because we'll be getting underway here shortly with that. Got some big things going on. UTV Racing, can Cody Miller come back after that 35th place finish in round 1 to try and win this championship? It's going to be exciting. Cole Secoy is here after he was on his way to the race last time and ended up having to go back home because his baby came a little bit early, so he's back, and a lot of exciting things ready to happen as far as the UTV Racing coming up here in just a few moments. And we've also got some exciting commentary, I'm sure, coming in from the Gator himself, Adam McGill, as he is getting set up right now, ready to talk to our own Mikey Waynes. But we'll get the word of the battle between he and Chris Borch, and then, of course, between he and Jared McClure as they came down to the finish line. What an awesome day. 2 hours and 5 minutes of some of the most intense racing I've seen in quite some time on these four-wheelers. And we head down to Victory Circle there where Mikey Waynes is standing by with the Gator himself, the 521 of Adam McGill.
Thank you, Rodney. Down here with the Gator, man. The Gator in Florida. This is where Gators are from, man. Second place today.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad day. I mean, we started about, I think it was fourth going into the woods, and the bike was feeling pretty good. You know, it just takes a little bit to get warmed up. There's things I'm going to change. I got to, but going into next week. And, you know, we pushed, and it was Wesley and then Chris and then me. And Wesley let Chris around. Then Wesley pulled over, let me around. I run Chris down. We rode together for pretty much most of the race, and we got within, I think it was 18 seconds or something like that of Walker, and I ended up pulling a shitty, man. Ended up clipping a stump and flipping over. So it's just what happened. You know, we're pushing that hard, and you're so focused, and damn, it feels good to be back here. It's been a long time coming since Ironman.
Well, good work, Adam, man. This is an indication what we're going to see the rest of the year.
I don't know, I can't say that, but yes.
PG, man, PG. Maybe PG-13 at the most.
Yeah, does the whale women swim in water?
Does a whale swim in water?
Yeah, I can't say what I want to say, but you get what I mean.
Yes, we know exactly what you mean, Adam. I'm going to take the mic away from him. Adam, always a pleasure, my friend. There's Adam McGill, second place finisher out of the XC1.
Thanks to Parts Unlimited, giving that water out. They do that to all of our riders. Got the Moose cool down zone that riders in all of our classes, when they come off these hot days of racing, have a fresh cold bottle of water waiting on them from Parts Unlimited and Moose Racing. Speaking of Parts Unlimited and Moose Racing, they're going to be hosting a dinner tonight, a welcome back dinner for the GNCC Racing Nation about 5 o'clock, inviting all of those that are here with us to come on over and check that out. Meantime, we're going to get the word in from the sneaky snake himself, Jared McClure, who hung back and seemed like might be out of this one at one point, but as the race wore on, he was able to position himself perfectly and nearly took a second, but walking away with a third place today, man, I tell you, the number 3 machine has got to be ultimately pleased with the ride that he put forth here in Florida, and these guys are all going to have to recoup and regroup, get their machines dialed back in, and head up to Georgia and try to do it all again in about 7 days. When we roll back to Aonia Pass, it's the return to Aonia Pass. It'll be a nice welcome return. Been a few years since we've been there. So a lot of cool things going on there. I just love this bike week, all the great racing. Like we pointed out today, tomorrow we got RacerTV. We got RacerTV on Monday, RacerTV on Tuesday, and then again next Saturday and Sunday. If you're in the area, you can go down and watch the Daytona Supercross that's going on tonight. So a lot of cool things going on. This guy right here is one of the coolest this week. We're talking about the snake, sneaky snake, Jared McClure.
Thanks, Rodney. Yeah, Jared McClure, man. I was talking to Adam. The battle for second place today, man. Talk to us a little bit about what was going on out there today.
Yeah, the last lap and a half there got pretty intense. Off the start, I was like 4th or 5th, and the top 3 there gapped me. So, you know, I was kind of seeing spots of their dust all day, just pushing and pushing, like, come on, where are these guys? Where are these guys? Just came through the finish there. I seen like 30 seconds or something. I thought, man, I really gotta push. So, you know, I put the hammer down. I scared myself a few times. You know, I was really just hammering down, and you know, the bike worked awesome. The Elka shocks were working good. Max's tires were hooking up, and then right at the power point there, I was able to, you know, start to see them, and man, that was just confidence booster. You know, I knew I was making up time, so I just kept pushing. And finally, you know, I got around Chris here before the finish, going on to the last lap, just took a different line through that mud. And then I was kind of riding with Adam, watching his lines, and he took a split line, and I just hit it hard up the middle, or up the inside, and was able to squeak by him. Tried hard to hold him off. Had him all the way to the open trackside pittings here, and he just got me up the inside on one of the rougher sections. It was, you know, my fault. I kind of screwed up. Was just letting it hang out, trying, and I missed a good line. So, you know, I tried to get him back, but he got me. Super pumped on third. You know, some of these guys were down in Florida all winter. You know, I just showed up here today, last night. You know, I'm really happy. You know, first podium ever down here, so it's progress.
Always a good position to be in, podium down here in Florida. Well, Jared McClure, good work, my friend. That is your third place finisher today out of the XC1.
Well, congratulations to Jared on a spectacular ride, and I think he said his first podium down here in Florida, and wow, what a day. That's going to wrap it up as far as the ATV battling is concerned. I know we're still battling with the XC2 and the College A and all the other classes. You can go to GNCCRacing.com, check on the, click on the results tab. You can go to live results or the results after the day, however you want to find out how this all breaks down. But I'm telling you, folks, a spectacular day of racing. We expect to see even more of that coming up here in a little bit with UTV Racing. And again, tomorrow at 1, as the two wheels will take to the track here at the Wildboar. On behalf of all of us here at RacerTV, Kerry Russell, our executive producer, and all the great folks that help make it all possible, I'm Rodney Tomlin on behalf of Landon Wolf and Mikey Wayne saying good day, everybody.